The way he plays this game is quite remarkable.
Have a look at this for a shot. Have a look at this for a shot.
Trick shot if he does.
I'll tell you what a shot that is. You won't say any better. It's close, it's very close indeed. What a shot. That is absolutely incredible. And listen to the crowd here.
Good evening, welcome to the Mattioli Arena in Leicester. It's the second half of Judgement Day Part 1, where the best of the rest are bidding to join the world's top 16 in Saturday's Victorian Plumbing UK Championship at the one and only York Barbican. 4 players have made it through already this afternoon, and tonight another 4 will join them. Ken, we had an absolutely brilliant afternoon. We had very one-sided victories. Stuart Bingham 6-0 against Jimmy Robertson. It just wasn't Jimmy's day. And at the very other end of the extremity, a 6-5 thriller between Stephen Maguire and Elliot Slessor. 59-minute epic. The green and then the blue from Stephen, just about getting him over the line, and a really nervy encounter. We've had it all already today.
Yeah, we've had it all, and I'm sure there's going to be, more drama tonight for sure. But yeah, what an epic last frame that was for Stephen Maguire. Of course, former champion, UK champion, but Elliot Slessor had some great chances in that. I was getting so much luck, but Stephen Maguire had to bite his tongue and his knuckles as well at times. But he got through in the end. Wonderful victory for him, and he's in the draw and one to look out for.
And a very good afternoon for 2 Welshmen, because we had Jack Jones making it through, and so too Jackson Page knocking out Hossein Vafai, one of last year's semi-finalists. Big win for both of them. Yeah,
great win for Jackson Page because his sort of history at the UK Championship hasn't been great. He hasn't won many matches at all. So great for him to get through. I mean, he played beautiful snooker today, scored very, very well. And, of course, Jack Jones as well. He's just continuing on that wonderful run, full of confidence, trying to break back into the 16. And, he played really well to finish out that match against Fan Zhengzhi today.
He certainly did. Now, as far as one of the stories of the 5 days or 4.5 days so far, Bai Yulu has been absolutely extraordinary. All eyes will be on her match this evening against Jack Lisowski. Pictures of her arriving a little earlier. She's had 15 half centuries across the 3 matches so far. Ken, this is a massive night for snooker, let alone women's snooker. If she did it, it would be absolutely remarkable. She's bidding to become the first female player to make the last 32 of any Triple Crown event. It's all to play for.
Absolutely, and I mean, all credit to her so far. I mean, how well she has performed. We saw some glimpses of her at the Champion of Champs last week, how well she played against Mark Williams, on that big stage in front of the TV lights. She's continued on this week. It's a great story, not only for her and for the tour, for women's snooker as well, an inspiration to a lot of young girls who are thinking about taking up snooker. She's up against a wonderful player, a lovely lad as well, Jack Lisowski, very, very talented. But I think, the way she's performed, she's got nothing to lose. She has to go out there with a mindset, I've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. Go out, just play her game. She's got a wonderful technique, beautiful. Just the way, her whole sort of technique and the way she strikes the ball. But yeah, I'm really looking forward. I think everybody is,
It's a brilliant opportunity for her to showcase her game. And she's only 21. She's going to improve. Stephen Maguire made some interesting points when he was asked about her progress through to Judgement Day after his winning effort. And he said she's proved everybody wrong. Yeah. She's so good and thoroughly deserves to be in the spotlight where she is tonight. There'll be so many people talking about her.
Absolutely. And so they should, because she deserves that credit, and she's been a shining light, and she plays the game with such sort of grace and composure and style. And, it's going to be an interesting night. I mean, obviously, Jack Lisowski is going to be a big favourite. But, I just think what she's done this week has given a lot of hope to a lot of the girls that are on the tour already, and also girls that are thinking of sort of taking up snooker as well. I think that's the inspirational story that she's produced this week.
Well, it's Jack Lisowski who's in first. We will, of course, also keep you up to date on Ryan Day against Sanderson Lamb, David Lilley against Wu Yize. Wu Yize made that wonderful run to the final of the English Open, just losing out to Neil Robertson. Wang Yu Shen against Barry Hawkins is the other of our quartet of matches this evening. The prize, a place in the draw, which will take place tomorrow afternoon. The Barbican looms large, but only for 4 of tonight's 8 players. It really is going to be a fantastic evening of snooker. It's the second half of Judgment Day Part 1, and I think they've just about finished their dinner in fine time to sit and savour every single second of what could be a 5-hour epic. You can keep up to date on the WST social media platforms or Discovery Plus. We're delighted to have your company. Record-breaking numbers of people tuning in. Lisowski at the table, and in the comms box, I believe, is the one and only Dave Hendon.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Looking forward to this. A lot of interest, of course, on this match in particular, on the evening in general. We're going to stick with table 1 for now. Jack Lisowski first in. He will have observed Bai Yulu's not only results but performances as well, all the breaks you mentioned. But of course, we know that he's a very fast scorer himself. He was in the balance against Rory Thor the other night, but finished off well. Bai Yulu left a red actually from a break-off shot here. So Lisowski looking, as I say, to really pile the pressure on early. He knows what a big match it is for her. It's a big match for him as well, of course. He's semi-finalist 2 years ago, so those points coming off on the 2-year rotation. He's currently 21 in the world, Lisowski. Very much a crowd favourite. So although Bai Yulu will have a lot of support, Jack Lisowski will have plenty himself. And would be, of course, another very dangerous qualifier if he were to make it through. Well, he's just saying there's a little spot on the black. He's asking the referee, Deshislava Boshalova, to give it a clean. Just left this a little awkward.
51.
Oh, yeah, and this is a little awkward. Not everyone could play this shot like this and live to tell the tale. Quick scorer, though, isn't he? I mean, he's already up to 51 in no time at all. Just lost ideal position. He knows it's a big night, Ken, doesn't he? You know, it's a big night for him as well, though. And a lot of focus on his opponent, but he's got his own job to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's no doubt there's a lot of pressure on him. You know, he's expected to win. And I think Bai Yulu could use that to her advantage in a way. But, I mean, he's a class act. Jack Lisowski, wonderful talent, wonderful player. And so down to earth as well. You know, I don't think he'll be taking anything for granted. I think, you know, I'd be the utmost respect as if he's playing Judd Trump or Ronnie O'Sullivan. I think that's what he should do anyway, because the pressure builds, and if he doesn't get off to a good start, that would only give encouragement to Bai Yulu. But this is a wonderful start from him so far.
Yeah, he recovered really well. Nice red, so nicely on the black. You'd fancy him now to take this frame. This black will get him 73 in front with 67 on.
Just playing a little cannon on the red, just to the right of the pink. That's what he tried, but he just clipped the red first. But that was the important ball to leave Bai Yulu needing the snooker now. Can he negotiate this red up to the yellow pocket? No problem. Yeah, I think starting on the front foot tonight for Jack Lisowski, just laying down a marker to his young opponent. You know that he's playing well, and with all the hype about Bai Yulu and how well she's done, he wants to, well, just get down to business.
Yes, there's no room for sentiment from his perspective, of course. He's got his own job to do. He's trying to get into another big event. He's been relatively quiet of late. He did get to the quarterfinals of the Wuhan Open in China this season. But a very swift 79. That was only 9 minutes, that frame. Jack Lisowski already 1-0 in front. So let's just go round the tables. And table 2, Ryan Day, very much a stalwart of the tour. He was a semi-finalist in the 2017 UK Championship. And Sanderson Lamb here, yesterday beat Yuan Sijun 6-5. He made a century in the decider. So it's a great win for him. He lives near by, actually, or relatively near to York in Harrogate. That's just gone wrong, but he'll be pretty confident, I think, coming into this match after the great finish he made yesterday. Ryan Day is a veteran of various Judgement days, isn't he? World Championship, UK Championship. You kind of always expect to see him here. He beat Louis Heathcote yesterday from 3-0 down. He beat him 6-3. Speaking of veterans of Judgement Day, here's Barry Hawkins, who looks like he's going 1-0 down. He needs snookers here against Wang Yuchen. Now, he's the other player who's come through from round 1. So a bit of an unknown quantity, I suspect, for Barry, but we know what a great pro he is. But it looks like he's going to lose this frame. And this is table 4. It's just finished, but Wu Yize made an 82 break against David Lilley. Rob Walker said I'd have my dinner. I hadn't, so I'm going to go and have it now. And Stephen Allworth is going to join Ken.
Okay, as David leaves us, we'll go back to table 2. Ryan Day, Sanderson Lamb, Stephen Hallworth joins us. Okay, we'll come back to table 2 a bit later, but let's go back to table 1. Jack Lisowski's just broke off, and Bai Yulu. Is she going to attempt this red, or is she going to play safe? That's one thing about Bai Yulu, and I don't know whether you've seen it in her matches here, but she certainly goes for shots. She doesn't hold back, does she, Stephen? She likes going for them.
Absolutely. I really do think she's a proper player. She's been very aggressive in the 3 matches she's played so far. She plays the right shots at the right times, and the thing that's impressed me most about Bai Yulu, particularly in these qualifiers, is that in the pressurized situations when the pressure has really been on, she's not shied away and gone into a shell. She's stayed positive, and ultimately that's why she's in the Judgement Day round, in the final round, to get through to the Barbican, because she absolutely deserves to be here.
Yeah, there's another wonderful shot, duly acknowledged by Jack Lisowski. A little tap on the table with his cue, but yeah, good safety shot.
She's won 18 frames of snooker to book a place in this Judgement Day, and 15 of those frames she's made a 50 break or more. That tells you everything you need to know about this girl. She is some player.
Yeah, another resident in the Ding Zhonghui Academy up in Sheffield, along with Wu Yize, Zhu Long, Wai Xizhong, Pang Zhongzhu, Ding, of course, Nopon. There's a lot of good players. So she's practicing with these guys all the time, gaining experience. She's not afraid to play them. I've seen her up there many, many times. Real diligent worker at a game, and always has a smile on her face as well. She's such a lovely, affectionate sort of personality.
And I think that's part of the reason why she's enjoying some success. I thought she stood up very nicely last week in the Champion of Champions against Mark Williams, who obviously went on to lift the title. But this week, you can see that she's been putting herself in those positions and testing herself against those, well, some of the best players in the world down at the academy. And it's those hard yards you do on your day-to-day basis that earning the right to enjoy these moments out in the arena, and I think that's why she's done so well this week. She believes she can compete.
Yeah, in fact, she had one of the hot shots of the week at the Champion of Champions. Favourite of Stephen Hendry's, if I recall. Wonderful safety shot. So it shows she's got both elements of her game. You know, she's quite clever, good safety player, but as you mentioned, she can score as well. So she's got all the attributes, and temperament, most importantly, is her biggest one.
So while we wait for this second frame to unfold on our feature table, table 1, let's have a little look over on table 2. My good pal Sanderson Lamb taking on Ryan Day, who, as David says, he so often features in the Judgement Day. Ryan Day, a very experienced campaigner, knows what it takes, of course, to book his place in the big events. But Sanderson Lamb is enjoying a couple of seasons, the best couple of seasons of his career so far. Got a lot of confidence in recent years, and his results are showing for it. Made a brilliant break in the decider against Yuan Sijun yesterday. Stood up well to the pressure, but he's going to have to stand up again tonight. This is a tough match for him.
Yeah, always a tough opponent, Ryan Day, when he's on form and when he's confident. British Open champion only a couple of seasons ago, but bags of experience. Sanderson Lamb, yeah, enjoying a couple of seasons, a bit of confidence. He's winning some good matches. Lovely lad, Northern Snooker player resident, along with Ollie Lyons and Peter Lyons up there. Plenty of players to play. Always have good tournaments as well. Always good competition. Got a bit of work to do to secure this first frame from this visit. You see, these two reds just behind the black are going to prove a little bit tricky. He's got to make sure he's got a good angle when he puts this black on his next red. Choice of reds. He's got to bounce that cue ball off. Maybe he can hold it, but on and off the cushion would be for me. Yeah, just a little angle.
And the red glued to the rail, the one just beneath the cue ball at the moment. It looked a smelly shot yesterday, that these rails and pockets were playing quite tight. I felt the new cloth may help that shot today. Oh, but he didn't expect him to miss that one. So possibly a little bit of a shaky start for Ryan Day.
Yeah, that was very unexpected. Yeah, let's see if he's got to play for the red now on the cushion here. He's got to leave an angle that he just has to drop it in dead weight, that he's not using too much pace. Nice and high on the red, because as you say, with these new cloths, the pocket will accept it, but it has to be dead weight and pretty accurate. And dead weight, he'll be sure to leaving himself a nice angle on the black as well. There you go, yeah. Perfect on the black. 6 points behind.
So surely now it's going to be all about that green ball. He's got the absolute perfect angle to just go up 2 cushions for the red in baulk.
Okay, let's just go to table 1. Just let's see what happens here. We'll come back to table 2 in a minute.
46.
But Jack Lisowski right bang in amongst them again. The one thing about Lisowski, I mean, when she gets on a roll, I mean, shot time comes right down to like 14, 15 seconds sometimes. You can reel off frames, and well, we saw what happened in the last frame, 9 minutes, but it's just such a quick score. His mind works so quickly. He sees the shot, plays it, no hesitancy whatsoever.
That's what makes him one of the best players in the world to watch, isn't it, Jack Lisowski? I suppose it's the unpredictability of him at times that you never know quite what Jack Lisowski you're going to get, but when he's in full stroke, he is one of the best to watch.
Right, let's just go back to table 2. Sanderson Lamb has missed the black up spot. Ryan Day 7 ahead. He needs blue and pink to secure this first frame. Got bounced that off, up and down off the brown spot. Back off the ball cushion. Perfect. So it's a chance for Sanderson Lamb, but he didn't take it. Ryan Day has, and I'm sure this pink is, well, elementary. Yeah, wonderful. Good start. Good steal.
Well, just as we rejoined table 1, Jack Lisowski left himself hampered over one of the reds on a break of 69. And it proved to be the difference there. Still 6 reds remaining, which means 75 points on the table. Could there? A big steal on the cards, possibly. Very uncharacteristic mistake from Jack from being absolutely perfect a few moments ago. Let's have a little look at where it broke down for Jack. He was perfect on the black, left himself that red, which it was a nasty little shot really to have to play. There was no way he should have even been hampered over that red. So much room for error. So this could be a big opportunity for Bai Yulu to claw away back into this frame at least.
Well, I mean, the situation at the table at the moment, I mean, you would think these loose reds are absolutely perfect. That red, just close to the pink, it doesn't pot into this left corner pocket, but it will pot into the right centre. And this is really a real sort of early test of nerve and temperament. Composure. Jack Lisowski missed that easy red. He has to sit and wait. It's not the type of situation he really needs here, because should Bai Yulu go on and, well, win the frame from this position, I mean, what a wonderful boost that would be. Just steadying herself. She's got to go back up for blue.
I think if you're to dissect this match and try and find a good way that Bai Yulu could win this game, she's probably not going to outscore Jack when he's in amongst them, but the odd mistake that he does have a tendency to throw in, if she can pick off from those mistakes and land a couple of body blows to Jack, psychologically, what effect will that have on him? That could be a possible route for her success this evening.
Yeah, I like that shot. Play for the red into the right corner.
20.
Didn't want to disturb the red and pink. I mean, she can leave that for a little bit later on. As I said, doesn't have to. That red does pot into the right centre. There's no doubt about that. And she can play that in a couple of shots' time. Try and tidy up these 2 reds just below the black if she can. Maybe the angle on this red into the right corner is not to her liking, so she's going to take the red into the centre. chance missed. Maybe she should have taken that red into the bottom right corner. It was a little bit easier. Okay, she might have had a good angle on it, but you'd still expect it to pot that, but a little bit more difficult into those middle pockets.
How she would have just loved that cue ball from the blue to have bounced a fraction further, but Jack Lisowski unable to capitalise on that mistake, so she gets a second bite at the cherry.
Yeah, 49 behind, so she needs pink or black with this, but she's got a nice angle on the red. She can spin that cue ball off at least 3 cushions back down into an area for pink or black, preferably black. Oh, that's not hard enough, is it? A little bit short of pace, but it's not too bad. She would have liked to be a bit closer to the black, but she's okay. And that was a lovely black, just floated in confidently now. Imperative that she gets a nice angle when potting this red on the black, just so she can drop on that last red. It's so important to get a nice angle on the black there. You know, to be straight on the black is just no good whatsoever. So all she can do is just pot the black. I don't think she'll even try and get on the red here, Stephen. I think she may just pot the black and then play a snooker. It was just so important to get top side of that black there, wasn't it?
It's amazing how many times as players we've all done that, and you just think to yourself, just hit the ball harder, make sure you get high. So playing the aggressive shot, pink to middle, this is very missable. Oh, that's a brilliant strike. Needs the cue ball to come across the face of the red, and oh, she's been unlucky. Brilliant attempt. Again, trying to stay positive, stay aggressive. She does back herself in those situations, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, there's not many players who would have taken the pink there. You know, they might have taken the black and then played the snooker on the red. Well, I mean, I have to say, fair play to her. Taking that more difficult pink. Doesn't want to leave a touching ball here. If it's a touching ball, she's in trouble. Oh. Another mistake.
Yeah, that's a big error because Jack has the option now to push a colour safe and get the cue ball up into the balk area. She may have just missed a trick there by Yulu. Fair play to her for taking that pink on, Ken. There's absolutely no way I'd have been taking that on, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, Jack I would have been putting the black safe here. That's pretty good. But I don't think he's got the snooker, has he? He might have got the snooker, but I think the black's safer. It means that, well, Bai Yulu, 34 points behind, she needs the black, so putting the black safe would have been a lot more sort of problematic for Bai Yulu. She's got to hit this and get it safe.
Big night for her. I'm sure there'd have been some nerves coming into this. I'm sure she'd have been very excited as well. She's played so well this week, so much support. Great to be able to showcase her talent as well and show the world exactly what she can do. Mixing it with the best players in the world on the biggest stage. Such a massive event for Jack Lisowski this year. Defending semi-final points from 2 years ago. In that unbelievable tournament he had. Losing 6-5 to Mark Allen in the semis. The game against Sean Murphy in the quarterfinals stands alone as one of the best matches I think I've ever seen in terms of standard from a single player. 4 centuries in a row he made against Sean. Well, that's a big miss hit from Bai Yulu, and she needs a bit of luck as that cue ball come to rest on that jaw.
I don't think he can pot this red unless he comes off the top cushion, but he's certainly, I'm not quite sure he can cut this red in. He's having a good look at it, but it's almost like, if it's like stuck to the jaw, it's very hard to, yeah, he can't clip it in. Now if he misses it, what a shot, what was he doing? Well, there goes to show the little bit of nervousness for Jack Lisowski. He's in a commanding position. There's no need to play that whatsoever. He could have just played the red, because Bai Yulu needs red and black and all the colours to win by 1. Now, all of a sudden, she has a little bit of freedom in the points sort of tally. She just need a black with the last red. Huge error.
Never even threatened the red either. He was a country mile away from hitting that.
Can she negotiate this? It'd be a brave shot. But she's got to play it. She can't put her opponent back in. She's got to play the up. Well, she doesn't like it. Surprised. The up and down. A little bit surprised there. She could have played the up and down. It was almost 1 cushion, possibly 2 cushions. Very hard to miss it. Jack. Oh, he's brought the safe green away from the cushion. Doesn't want that cue ball going in there. Oh. It's all happening. Almost exactly where the red was a few minutes ago.
Those penalty points that Jack just gave her a moment ago mean that she doesn't need the black off this final red now as well. So she's got a little bit of wiggle room. Very much a red ball frame though now, it looks. Needs to just buy herself a few shots here. Try and keep this object ball safe.
Well, that was a lovely shot, lovely touch, clever. Oh, have a look at this. Almost. She didn't want the double kiss, but she's got away with it. Yeah, this looks good. We had a big target there between pink and black to get the cover on the red. And it's not going to be easy to hit. The green is sort of in the way for a 2 cushion escape. Unless she can get right through the gap. This is, well, this could prove very, very difficult. Maybe she has a gap in between pink and black. She did, and she's played it well. She's got the red safe. Excellent shot.
Yeah, and the little flick off the blue wasn't bad either, because it's now covered the red with the brown. And Jack's missed it once again, so this one may be getting replaced. No free ball. Not only has Jack got to hit this red, he has to get it safe now. Desislava, the referee, just making sure these balls are replaced as accurately as possible. I think that cue ball was actually a little further up the table. Right, it's going to be the same shot again from Jack Lisowski. And the same thing applies, he has to get this safe. Yeah, good hit, solid contact on the red. Managed to freeze the cue ball. Hasn't left anything for Bai Yulu, so job done there.
Yeah, another decent safety shot from Bai Yulu. Quite clever. You'd be happy with that. Slightly fortunate, you'd have to say. Hand went up apologetically. Quite clever. Such a clever shot that from Bai Yulu, using the red to try and bring the green away from the cushion, knowing that she still have, you know, the pink and black as a possible blocking ball. If this clips the yellow, well, now all of a sudden she's got green and yellow out, and she's got a chance on the red, and you can see his disappointment. It was a very, very clever shot from Bai Yulu there in that previous shot. For someone so young, Stephen, I mean, to think of that shot, you know, it just shows you, you know, that she's got a real good snooker brain on top of her shoulders, as well as all her wonderful talent as well.
You've taken the words right out my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. She's got a great snooker brain. It didn't look much of a shot, did it? But there was a motive behind it, and she played it perfectly. To bring the green out using the red, it was a big target. So she's earned herself another chance here, and she's got this test in brown to middle. Could have landed a lot nicer on it. But as she's done all week, she just crunches them in, doesn't she? No fear snooker.
Well, that was just a wonderful shot. Played so confidently. Jack not looking. This is the big shot. If she can pot this, get on the green nicely, well, yeah, no problem at all. She's played it beautifully. Off two cushions, perfect on the green.
Again, another example of a shot. I just love how she's played it. A lot of players may have tried to just hold that off one, and it's a bit of a decelerating shot. You don't hit it as positively. She's cued that one nicely, and now she's got the balls nicely spread for a clearance, and this will be a big blow.
And don't forget, she was 69-0 behind when she first came to the table. Jack Lisowski missed the red, slightly hampered into this bottom right corner pocket. She's clawed her way back. She's played some great shots, good safety, and a chance now to win the frame. Big shot. This is, well, if she pots this, gets on the pink, this is frame ball. There's pressure on it. Can't reach it. She may need a little bit of an extension on the bottom of the cue. But what a shot this is. She looks calm, looks composed. This could prove very vital. She'd be perfect on the pink if the blue goes in. Oh, she's missed it. What a chance that was, and she's left it. Oh, chance miss for Bai Yulu. She played so well to get back into this frame. That was a big moment.
And a huge let-off for Jack Lisowski. He will be sighing with relief because that would have been a bad frame to lose from him. He had a couple of bites at the cherry there, did Bai Yulu. Not quite able to take advantage, so it's going to be 2-0. Jack Lisowski over on table 1. Now, you may have heard the cue ball fly off a table. This is exactly what happened. Ryan Day in amongst them against Sanderson Lamb. Chips the white. Never nice to see that as a player. Doesn't matter if you're playing them or watching it. You always sort of just wince. It's not a nice sound. It's not a nice sight. And Sanderson followed it up with a crunching long red to get himself in amongst them. And ultimately, that's what cost Ryan Day the frame. Sanderson Lamb levelling things up on table 2, 1 frame all. Always good to get that frame on the board as quickly as possible. Settle yourself down. Well, it was an early chance that for Sanderson after Ryan Day nestled into the side of the Reds and left it. Didn't look all that comfortable queuing with all the tackle on the end of the queue. So after that big miscue from Ryan Day in the previous frame, he's got a chance early on to rectify things here. Interesting matchup this. I thought Ryan did very well to come through his match yesterday against Louis Heathcote. Louis played so well the first 3 frames, and then, well, the wheels just seemed to fall off. Ryan just nicked the frame before the interval to give himself a chance, and that's a brilliant shot that Ryan Day has just played there. He's an absolute specialist at that type of shot. He's got so much cue power. He really gets some work on the cue ball, and it's exactly what he needed there. He's got the Reds open nicely.
Yeah, as I said earlier, he's such a sort of regular at this stage of tournaments, isn't he? And obviously he'd like to get back in the top 16 and not have to pre-qualify. But I think he's someone you would always kind of fancy to get through, Ryan Day. His vast experience in the game.
I'm so sorry, Dave. This is 2 Reds and 2 Blacks. And look at the Reds.
Well, you've gone big, you've gone early. I like it.
What a chance he's created for himself here, Ryan. He couldn't have opened those Reds any better. This is a wonderful chance for a big one. And you can absolutely guarantee that Ryan Day will be thinking about it. He'll be wanting to go for this, I can assure you. Remember, the highest break is currently 146, so only a maximum will do in terms of whoever's going to win the highest break prize of 15,000.
Yeah, and of course, it's worth saying if you make more than one in a Triple Crown tournament, it's a bonus of 147,000. So if you were to make another one in this, if you got in the Masters or the World Championship, then that bonus would be there for the taking. Ryan Day's made 4 maximums in his career.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What has he done?
Well, not made a maximum is the answer.
He had a couple of reds there that he could have screwed into the middle and got back on the black. I'm astonished. Well, regardless, Ryan Day still does have that good opportunity in this third frame. I mean, he's created it himself. Couldn't have opened the reds any nicer. Still gutted he disregarded the 147 attempt. But hey, still plenty of time for that.
Good to see a few people in. It's not packed, but it never is at the qualifiers. But it's a nice evening to come and enjoy a bit of snooker here. And there are tickets available tomorrow as well if you want to come and watch it up close. There's a lot of drama on show. We saw that earlier today. Of course, that decider with Steve Maguire and Elliot Slesser. Of course, Neil Robertson in action tomorrow. He plays Matthew Stevens, 2 former champions, going head-to-head in the evening. Got young Stan Moody, of course, as well, and various other big names to bring you.
57.
Very similar to the afternoon session, pretty quick fire stuff wherever you look in the arena at the moment. Lots of big breaks flying in.
64.
The conditions looking superb, as they often are. New cloths put on the table for the Judgement days, so very slippy, which is what the players like.
Just slightly lost the cue ball here, though. He's just shaking his head because he's not over the line yet in this frame. 61 in front. He still needs another red. So he's got this red just left of the pink, and that should be to make it 2-1. It's been a fast start in this match. Only been going about 45 minutes. But Ryan Day does still need another red. Or maybe he played for the one actually, the third, the one in the middle of the 5, just below the pink. That's the one he's playing. And he hasn't potted it, so not over the line yet. And not happy. Not happy. 70. The key thing there is, of course, Lamb had that 4 points. So, but for that, he would need a snooker, but there is just a glimmer. There's 66 in it with 67 available, and he is on red, which would take him to the black. So he needs all blacks. This could be a big moment early in the match if he could clear up here. Needs to be on the black here. He's just checking the scores. He's not got the angle, really. If he took a pink, he could only tie. He could play the red to left middle, come up and down for the black. Cue ball's got a long way to travel here, though. Well, it's no good. He caught the jaws of the corner pocket. So he can't pot pink or black, so he's going to need a snooker here. Yeah, I think... well, he's going to have to pot something, but even then he needs a snooker. So the chance was there. Ryan Day was furious when he broke down, but it doesn't look like it's cost him. It's looking like 2-1 Ryan Day there, but we want to keep in touch with what's happening on table one. There's a lot of interest in this. Bai Yulu 2-0 down. Did have the chance, of course, in that second frame, missed the blue. But she is in early here in the third, 10 behind. Just lost her way here positionally. So we're back with this frame in due course. Want to keep you across all the action. And table 3, Barry Hawkins and Wang Yuchen. Barry Hawkins on a break here. It's one each. He's on a break of 73. We're just going to show you if he can make the century. David Lilly's gone 2-1 up on Wu Yizi on table 4. Barry Hawkins was a semi-finalist 3 years ago, 2021. Zhao Xingtong beat him. This season, a couple of quarter-finals, English Open and Xi'an Grand Prix. He was hoping to get back in the top 16. He's actually 20 as it stands. So that's hence he's having to qualify here. But of course, if he could get to York and get on a run, then he could possibly get back in the 16. Doesn't look like it's going to be a century unless he can pot this red. Well, he can. So every chance now. Very tidy player, Hawkins. It doesn't sound like much of a compliment, but it's meant as one. He's just very in control of everything he's doing. No real weaknesses in his actual game. And he's got the colours on their spots. So this looks like a century coming up. He's had 10 this season. Had a good win over Alfie Burden, 6-1 in the previous round. And as I was saying earlier this afternoon, I think with the seeded players, if they can get that first match out the way, so they're guaranteed ranking points and they're played in, used to conditions, used to coming here, quite often then in their next match they step it up. We saw that with Stuart Bingham and a few others this afternoon. He probably won't know much about his opponent, Wang Yuchen. He's back on the tour. They've never played each other, but Hawkins is aware of what's happening with Chinese snooker. He will certainly not be taking him lightly. So the pink for the century. Very nicely done with Barry Hawkins, and the black for a clearance of 111 to lead 2-1. Nicely done. And with that, let's go to the studio and join Rob.
How good was that from Barry Hawkins? His 11th century of the season with a 1-1-1. Stephen, dragged you out of commentary on the Jack Lisowski Bai Yulu match because there have been a couple of really big moments, especially deep into that second frame. And she's not been intimidated by the occasion or the opponent so far, has she?
She's not been intimidated all week, has she? She's sort of taken it to all the players. She's had some brilliant results, and that second frame was a massive frame because Jack was in 69 points up. He had a good chance to just kill the frame off very quickly. Missed a red queuing over one, which gave Bai Yulu a good chance for a possible steal. And then she has had a couple of bites at the cherries and just wasn't quite able to get over the line.
Right, talk us through this red. Jack going for the pot here.
Well, she's been a little bit lucky, Bai Yulu, to leave the red where it is. He can't pot it direct, but he fancies the job of coming off the top cushion and just knocking it in that way. But it was a strange one. Look at the reaction from Jack as well. He got nowhere near that, in all honesty, and that was a very surprising miss from Jack.
And Bai Yulu gave herself a brilliant opportunity for the steal. And the way she'd composed that break, I thought she was going to pop that blue.
Me too. She potted some brilliant balls, actually, up until that point. She's left herself really in the one awkward spot where she's had to put the mini butt on the end of the cue. That added little bit of weight on the back just affected that shot. And I was gutted, really, to see her miss that because that could have been a big moment in the match, a steal against Jack. It may have had a psychological effect to Jack.
It would have been a great opportunity for her to settle with one on the board. But what's been interesting, listening to your commentary, you're both impressed with her snooker brain and her snooker knowledge. And when you bear in mind, Bai Yulu is still only 21, there's a lot of improvement to come tactically. She's a very clever snooker player.
Yeah, and it's very impressive, actually, because some of the shots she plays, they don't look a lot. But as a snooker player, you can just see the motive behind the shots that she's playing. There was one shot that me and Ken really liked. It was a safety shot where Jack had the green safe on the side rail. She purposefully sent the red up to promote the green, knowing she was getting a good white. You know, she's not just playing safety shots for the sake of it. She's trying to force the issue.
Well, I think we're going to see and hear a lot more of Bai Yulu in future weeks and future seasons, but the match isn't over yet. Let's get straight back to comms.
Frame 3 could be over soon, though. Yeah, it was a big moment in frame 2, wasn't it? As Stephen said, had she potted that blue, you never know. But Lisowski motoring here, and he just scores so quickly already. This frame is basically his. There is a red down in bulk, so this is frame ball. This black. And at 3-0, and they've only been going, well, not even an hour yet. Frame 2 was close, though. If you're just joining us, that was a chance for Bai to put some pressure on. Lisowski just minding his own business. Such a wonderful player to watch when he's in full flow. Very natural. Fast scorer, just plays the game in an attractive way. Semi-finalist a couple of years ago, had a great chance to reach the final, lost a decider to Mark Allen, who of course went on to win the tournament. Trick shot to finish. 3-0. So a long way back, but big fourth frame coming up. Meantime, here's Wu Yize, who's really broken through this season, of course, getting to the English Open final. It's 2-1 down to a very experienced player, David Lilley. This is really youthfully experienced. David Lilley, 49. Wu Yize just turned 21. I think it was last year, wasn't it, Stephen? David Lilley, he played a shot and the chalk fell out of his pocket. And it was well, I remember you laughing about it.
Yeah, it was. How could you ever forget that? I think it went viral, didn't it? That he actually pulled me up for that, David Lilley. When I saw it the next time, he wasn't all that pleased with it, but we sort of laughed it off and had a giggle. Remarkable if you haven't seen it.
Well, as I say, he's taken great steps forward. He's 29th in the world, and of course that's his highest ranking, as we see the latest scores on your screen. but he's missed that one. And he's left the world on here for Lily. What a chance this is for 3-1.
He's so experienced, isn't he, David Lilly? There's nothing he hasn't seen in the game. Was probably one of the greatest amateurs of all time before he actually got onto the professional circuit, and now he's sort of established himself just inside that top 64. He'd like to try and kick on, but he's a match for anyone.
Yeah, he's proven that already. He beat Liam Davis, a talented young Welsh player, 6-2, and then Tepchire Nu 6-3. Yeah, that's a big win over, obviously, a great talent from Thailand.
I suppose in a strange sort of way, the match that David came through against Tepchire Nu was probably a good preparation match for this one. Quite similar players in a way, Wuriza and Tepchire, so David will be well aware of what's coming his way this evening. Wuriza likes to attack. Oh, but that did not sound good. That was a miscue.
Yeah, as you say, the sound of it was horrible, and wasn't an unexpected thing to happen. It was a great chance when he came to the table, but didn't make much from it. Just slightly hampered by the green, but he's 16 in front. Another opening here. Very favourable table. In goes the red. So it could be a big moment, that miscue, because it was a definite chance for 3-1. Yeah, Will Gizzard, he went into that final session of the English Open final against Neil Robertson, a proven winner, 7-1 down, and everyone was sort of talking about, oh, it's going to fizzle out, we'll need to do an exhibition. 8-2, you know, same applied, but then he absolutely threw the kitchen sink at it, got back to 8-7, not missing a ball. The next frame was a bit more cagey early on, and Robertson eventually got a chance, made a nice break, but he really put him under it.
It gave us a real insight as to what an exceptional talent this boy is. That final against Neil was one of the best single performances I've seen from someone trailing in a big final like that, particularly down to the fact that it was his first final. It was like a rabbit in the headlights to begin with, but my goodness me, didn't he play well? And what could have been on another day, had he have got off to a better start in that match against Neil, we could well be talking about him as a ranking event winner already.
Well, he's got plenty of time, as I say, just turned 21, and no rankings concern. The concern is the players around him in the rankings, because he's coming for them, 29 now. Another young Chinese talent really improving. It's one thing to get on tour, it's one thing to stay on tour, but to start beating the top players. Remember, he beat Judd Trump there in the quarterfinals at Brentwood. And getting to finals, then that is another step up entirely. So 44 the lead with the black. A couple more reds to see at home. Well, red and a black actually would get him to 52 the lead with 51 on. And that miscue will thus be a big moment. Not the sort of thing David Lilly wants to be thinking about in the interval, even though still be 2 each. He also seems to be taller every time I see him. He's becoming a giant, isn't he? So, the miscue from David Lilly was significant. Williams has done the rest, and they go to the interval at 2-2. Now, of course, you're supposed to get the balls in the pockets, but it doesn't always work out like that. Here's Ryan Day. I mean, he wants that erased for all time, doesn't he? He never wants to see that again. That was a shocker.
And then just to make things even worse for him, he has another shocker.
Of course, if the pink had gone along the railing in the opposite corner, that would be legal, but the fact is it's on the floor. And Barry Hawkins joining in the, I was going to say fun, but that wasn't really much fun.
Maybe they're communicating to one another through banging balls against the little bollards in the middle of the arenas there. Balls flying in or off the table all over the place.
Well, Ryan Day is in here live in frame 4 with a chance to make it 3-1 despite his travails there.
28.
Currently 28th in the world rankings, but has been, of course, as high as number 6. So, nicely on frame ball red.
41.
And again, it's not taken long to get to the interval, just around about an hour for this 3-1 advantage. He can be a bit erratic in terms of form, but clearly when he's on it, he's a match for anybody, winner of 4 ranking titles.
48.
And he's just mopping up this frame, but it's going to be clearly 3-1 up. Let's go back to table 1. Bai Yulu 3-0 down, of course, to Jack Lisowski, but at the table here on a break of 4 as we pick it up. Remember, she was 5-3 down to Scott Donaldson when they resumed last night, won the 3 frames that were played to win 6-5.
How she'd love to get a frame on the board going into the interval. We've already discussed that second frame. How big could that one be? Got a chance to get some reds moving here. Can she get enough on that cue ball to get them moving? She's tried it, not quite able to get into the meat of the pack. She's brought the one single red out, although it's a very tough pot wherever she goes for it. Yeah, not to be, so needs a little bit of luck to not leave it, and I think she has left it. This is on. Important. Jack left himself an angle on a baulk colour there to try and get into these reds. He's nice on the green. Just needs to guide the cue ball off the side cushion. A little touch of right hand side on the white. Down into the reds. Looks good. Good contact. And he is on a red to middle. A little bit more difficult than it perhaps could have been. One good pot here though, and he could be away again.
Yeah, that second frame starting to look even bigger, isn't it? That Miss Blue, as she was looking good to potentially steal it. Well, he wasn't so happy with that one. He's just lost the cue ball. So a little test of cueing here. And he's passed the test.
How well has he played that? And tight on the rail. That was impressive to just... hard enough to just drop that type of shot in. Never mind, top through another red. Cued it perfectly.
20.
Well, a big night for Bai Yulu, but she's run into a very naturally gifted player who's found a lot of his A game tonight. Even that shot, even he was stretching there, but didn't touch the sides. One red safe, we won't need it, so it's looking for all the world like 4-0. He's come here to do a job. He's aware of all the publicity about his opponent, but he can't think about that. And he hasn't done, clearly.
This has been a lot better this evening from Jack Lisowski than his previous match against Rory Thorpe. Okay, he scored well in that game when you look at the score sheet, but I just think the overall performance, the overall intensity and his focus wasn't there. He certainly looks a different player tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you watch him play sometimes and you think, you know, how is he not, you know, in the top 8? But it's not as straightforward as that necessarily. There's been some big occasions where just hasn't quite followed through, including that semi-final 2 years ago with Mark Allen. Previous match, he'd had 4 centuries in a row against Sean Murphy.
51. 52.
Referee having to be quick here.
59.
Played for the kiss on the black, obviously, to land nice on the brown.
It's pretty advanced stuff, that, from Jack Lisowski. Not many would see that shot.
66.
Yeah, it's just kind of just illustrative of the fact he's not feeling pressure now. He might have done had it gone 1 each, but it didn't.
71.
Just allowed him to pull away in this match. He's made a few breaks, including this one.
I mean, it's pretty irrelevant where the cue ball comes to rest. He'll pop them off the lampshades.
77, 4-0 to Jack Lisowski. The only other match it's on is table 3, and it's at an important stage in frame 4. Barry Hawkins 2-1 up against Wang Yuchen. Now, Wang was in, Mr. Pink. You can see it on the side cushion. And the Hawk looking to steal a 3-1 lead.
8. I think Wang Yuchen has played some really good snooker so far this week. He had a brilliant win over Mark Davis from well behind in that match. I think if he's going to get anything out of this game tonight with Barry Hawkins, he has to take this type of opportunity, this frame he was in. Cannot afford to let up and let someone of Barry's class off the hook, because ultimately he's just going to pull away with it. So it's important that Wang Yuchen tries to stay in touch with Barry. This is a very important frame now. 40.
19.
He's just doing the maths in his head here, Barry. If he takes red, black, yellow, green, brown and blue, he will still need that final pink.
20.
So the ball that Wang Yuchen missed and he possibly thought might cost him this frame might come back to save him.
Yeah, he would be able to tie though, wouldn't he? So
35.
if he pots these 4, be 13 in front. So Hawkins either way would feel he'd be coming back to the table if he doesn't get on the pink.
37.
I always think it must be, I mean, you know, Stephen, it must be hard to work out the maths sometimes, you know, when you're thinking about do I need a colour or not. There's enough to think about, isn't there, without all that?
Yeah, and earlier on in this break, actually, Barry played a shot, and I wondered if he tried to just flick that pink off the cushion on reflection. I convinced myself that he didn't. And in so early on in a break, it's difficult to work out the scores, but ultimately, when it comes to the end of it, he is going to need that pink. Because, as you say, Wang Yuchen will still be able to tie this frame.
44.
No, he hasn't got the angle to top this pink off the cushion from the blue, so it's going to be the double. He needs that cue ball to pull up. It may have just. Has he gone too low for the double to be on?
There's the answer. Terrific clearance. It was that ball that Wang missed, and it's that ball that Barry Hawkins doubles. So he leads 3-1. All 4 matches are at the interval, but don't worry, we've got plenty to entertain you as we go back to the studio with Rob.
Thanks very much to Dave and to Stephen Hallworth. They get a chance of a very quick cup of tea. What a Barney Rubble there by Barry Hawkins.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant on the pink. And I tell you what, he was under a little bit of pressure in that match, Ken. He needed that.
Yeah, but he's such a wonderful player. He has been over the years, hasn't he? What a consistent performer he's been, and great player, lovely cueist, you know, and he worked out that little pattern of play, didn't he? Very, very well. Very impressed with that young player, Wang Yuchen. He's like sort of really thrown up to Barry Hawkins, but that was such an important clearance right before the mid-session interval.
It was brilliant because you could see him working it out that he needed the pink, and you got closer and closer, and it was a wonderful double. Back on to tonight, which, by the way, is a record for YouTube views on the WST social media platforms. And one of the reasons for that is that it's just been an incredible story and an incredible run for Bai Yulu to make Judgment Day here in her quest to join the top 16 in what will be an epic Victorian Plumbing UK Championships. That blue has been a huge moment, hasn't it? Because it just feels as though she's missed a chance to settle, and Lisowski has subsequently pounced on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very pivotal time in the match. It was very, very early. She'd done so well. She was 69-0 behind. She clawed her way back, played some great shots, got back into the frame, and, you know, brought a green out into play, played a clever shot in the last red, got the yellow out and made a wonderful clearance up to the blue. And as a blue, I didn't actually think she was going to miss it, you know, because she played a lovely yellow, green, brown. She left the blue a little bit sort of mid-distance, but it's one of those blues. If she just pots it, she's bang on the ping. And I didn't see her miss it, but she just sort of snatched it a little bit. It was one of the few times, and here we'll see it. Now just watch how quick sort of she played it. Her cue sort of came up a little bit, and you can see that little bit, the little extension on her cue adds a little bit of weight. And it's can always be a problem if you don't adjust. You see it's taking a little bit off there. If you don't adjust, you see where the cue ball even finished. It wasn't like dead on the pink. She's got into the cue ball a little bit too much. And yeah, big sort of miss for her. Relief for Jack Lisowski, because he was rocking a little bit up to then, you know.
Well, and Dave made a really good point, along with Stephen Hallworth, when we were chatting before we came on air. Jack had that great run to the semis 2 years ago, so perhaps in the back of his mind he's thinking, I've got quite a lot of points to defend here from 2 years ago, and it hasn't been a great season so far from his point of view. So he'll take a lot of heart going into the draw if he finishes the match off currently 4-0 up and obviously looking good. He'll take some heart from that going into tomorrow afternoon's draw. And equally, there are a huge amount of positives for Bai Yulu to take from this run, irrespective of what happens, you know, in the second half of this match against Lisowski.
Without a doubt. I think what she's done this week, you know, the matches she won, the players that she's beaten. I mean, incredibly from 5-3 down against Scott Donaldson. We spoke about it earlier, very experienced player. But that level of performance all week, 50 plus breaks over the course of the 3 matches, that can only stand to her. You know, it's great experience for her. It'll give her great confidence. And, you know, as I said, she's got a great sort of base to work on. You know, she's got a really good... Her whole setup is wonderful. She's gained experience all the time. The champion of champions against Mark Williams. You know, all these little shots that she's very, very clever. She's got a good snooker brain. You can tell from some of the shots that she's played already. You know, there's an example of one of them. Yeah, she's gaining experience, gaining confidence all the time. And it's just great to see. I think it's great for the tour. It's great for the ladies' game. That she will be an inspiration to a lot of young girls taking up the game around the world, not only in her native China but around the world.
Yes, because she's got a brilliant snooker brain. Now, I know she's based at Dings Academy.
Yeah.
You've got a great base in Sheffield. You love the city. We both do.
Yeah.
Who is overseeing her from a point of view of coaching and mentorship? Is Ding involved?
Well, if she's playing in Dings Academy, yeah, without a doubt. She's playing every day with the likes of Wu Yize, the likes of Lei Pei Fan, who's playing here as well, Wan Xijian, Zhu Yulong, you know, Nopon is there, Gudong is there, and Tianpeng Fei as well. But I think Lucky Vatani, who's the coach, the resident coach there, he's the manager of the whole academy. He looks after all of the players there, all the Chinese, the Indian lads that are there, even the guys that maybe come from the Middle East. He does a wonderful job. And he oversees everything. So I don't know whether she has had coaching lessons, but I'm sure she has from Lucky, because if anybody needs anything, they go to Lucky, you know, and he's such a wonderful man and runs the place very, very well. And I think, you know, she's benefited from that. You know, it's not easy for her. You know, she's come all the way from China, away from her family, away from her friends. She's based in a different country, as indeed all the Chinese are, but she seems to have settled down very, very well. The fact that she has all these other Chinese snooker players with her, and they have taken her under her wing. I see her when I go in there. She's always huddled around them, playing with them, demonstrating different shots, and really enthusiastic, you know, and always with a wonderful smile on her face as well. And that's beautiful to see. So it's great to see her, you know, the fruits of her labour as well coming to fruition in this week.
And it does seem as though she's really enjoying her snooker.
Yeah.
And that's part of the key. That's what Zhao Gudong said to both you and I at the Champion of Champions last week, that I've started to really enjoy it. You mentioned Wu Yize there. Let's just touch on the fact that he's 2 apiece with David Lilley. He's at a really interesting stage of his career, Wu Yize, because that run to the final of the English was magnificent. I know it was one of the most emotional triumphs of Neil Robertson's career. So he didn't reach the ultimate goal, but he was pretty close. But David Lilley, nearly 50, he's got a lot of experience, and that's a match. You know, that's on a flip of a coin.
Yeah, absolutely. But I you know, something about Wu Yize, I think he's one of the most talented young players coming through. You know, it's not. He's already knocking on the door, but I think it's only a matter of time before he gets his hands on a trophy. He's climbing up the rankings very, very steadily. That run to, you know, as you said, the English Open, that will have done him good ranking-wise. But he's a class act. He's a great scorer, great long putter. He was 4-0 up against Judd Trump over in Riyadh, you know, only for him to lose. And Judd Trump, of course, went on to win it against Mark Williams in the final. He has the pedigree, he has the work ethic, he has the diligence, and he has the temperament above everything else. Very talented boy, and yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of him over the course, not only of this season, but the upcoming seasons as well.
Very exciting prospect.
And he can play left-handed as well. And you know something, he reminds me of Ronnie so much because he practices he dedicates at least an hour or an hour and a half every single day when he's in that academy to playing left-handed. So he will go through his whole routine and he will do all the lineups left-handed for at least an hour and a half with his dad there every single day. He dedicates he puts about an hour to the side. Let's play left-handed instead of right-handed. And he's very good with both hands. He's brilliant. So yeah, I've got a lot of time for him. He's a lovely lad, and I think he's going to go, right to the top. This young kid.
Wow, that's great insight from you, Ken. Is that unusual for a player to practice up to 90 minutes a day with his weaker arm?
I think Ronnie O'Sullivan has sort of sparked that whole sort of debate about playing left-handed, the advantages of it. All these young kids, they all see Ronnie, how well he plays left-handed. And you even see the young, like Sean Liu, who's only 13 years of age, all the way from Hong Kong. He's based in Sheffield as well. He's not on the tour. He's trying to get on the tour. But he plays at least an hour or so left-handed as well. But we'll use it, and a lot of the other guys are doing exactly the same, to have that advantage of not having to use the rest and have the advantage of both hands.
Great insight there from Ken Doherty. Now, before we go back to commentary, we should take a moment to mark the passing of a great friend to snooker. Mark Wildman has died today at the age of 88. So many accolades and such a great contribution to snooker. He was the first player to have a televised century back in 1960. World Billiards champion in 84. Great commentator on ITV for the rest of the 80s and a chairman of the WPBSA in the very late 90s. And I know you remember him well, Ken.
I do. He had I remember him as a young 14-year-old. I had a job in Goffs at the Irish Masters as like an usher, and it was the first time I met Mark and his lovely wife, and he was a commentator there. I used to listen to him commentate. A beautiful voice for commentary, so eloquent. His delivery was always perfect. He knew the game inside out. He absolutely loved the game, as indeed he had a great love of billiards as well. But he was a lovely man, loved talking about snooker, engaging in the whole concept of the game and coaching and stuff like that. And of course, I've been to a snooker club in not far from Myrtleborough, a place called Ron's in Northamptonshire, where he had his own snooker club. But he was a gentleman, and he'll be sadly missed.
He will be sadly missed. And I was at Clive Everton's funeral not a couple of weeks ago, and Wildman and Everton played some great matches, and who knows, maybe they're watching down and enjoying Judgement Day. Let's hope they are. Our condolences to the Wildman family as we return now to the second half of Judgement Day Part 1, the finish of some of these matches coming up very soon.
Thank you, Rob. We're with Ryan Day and Sanderson Lamb. Ryan Day 3-1 up and pushing on towards 4-1. Yeah, I knew Mark Wildman. He was a real gentleman, such a fascinating character. Snooker and billiards. He played at the Crucible. He won the World Billiards Championship. Great commentator and very, very interesting to talk to. At one stage, he owned the only Carrom billiards table in Britain. He was in his club that Sean played at, Rawn's, and had the British Championship there every year, but then he moved to Spain with the table, so that was the end of that. But he was a fascinating man, really was, and echo the thoughts of Ken there. Condolences to the family. So we continue our coverage, and Ryan Day looking good here. As I say, it seems Judgement Day almost wouldn't be the same without him, but of course he would rather be in the top 16, I'm sure. His ranking seems to yo-yo a bit these days. He's a bit inconsistent. This season, just two last 32s actually. Both big Chinese events, the Xi'an Grand Prix and the International Championship, but he's looking for deeper runs than that, of course. Well, that last shot has opened things up, so if you can pop this blue, 61 the lead. Not much more to do, just red and a colour. Should see him home.
Yeah, he's just starting to turn the screw now, Ryan Day. Sanderson Lamb sat watching on.
61.
Not a lot you can do from your chair, unfortunately, and when he gets the chance, should any chance come along, he has to start to capitalise on the mistakes that Ryan Day may make, because it doesn't look like he's going to make too many this evening. He's played quite nicely so far. The start of the game was a little bit edgy, but since then, Ryan's looked very, very strong.
Well, this is effectively frame ball. So he's made his move, and barring snookers, it's going to be 4-1. Jack Lisowski and Bai Yulu are back out on table 1. And if Bai's got any chance of causing an upset, it has to start in frame 5. Lisowski, though, is at the table here on a break of 5. He's played really nicely tonight. That second frame we've mentioned a few times, that could have gone the other way, but it didn't. And really, since winning that, he started to motor, although that has not gone to plan. So that opening didn't come to much. Whatever happens tonight, and it's likely Bai Yulu will exit at this stage. What an extraordinary run she's had. She's beaten, you know, some really good players. Farrakha Jabe, Jamie Jones, Scott Donaldson. And just a sign maybe of what's to come for her. It's only her first year on tour. Still quite a few tournaments to come this season. She'll be on tour next season, guaranteed. And of course, the hope you have is that she will also inspire maybe some other Chinese girls to take snooker up if they've seen what she's done. I spoke to Rhiannon Evans last week, and she was saying that, you know, when she was growing up, she never saw women playing snooker on television. So you'd never think you could even be a snooker player if you were a girl, but times thankfully have changed.
I think as well just how she's acquitted herself this week. She's a superstar, isn't she? She's played so well on the table. She acts so professional off it as well. She certainly will inspire another generation, although she's still got a career ahead of her, so she's doing the right thing, putting herself in these positions, competing against the best players in the world, and inevitably she'll continue to gain confidence, gain experience, and her level will increase.
Well, can she just put together one good frame, make a nice break? You know, she had all those half centuries in the previous matches, 15 of them in 3 rounds. Can she produce something sizable here?
I think that's what she really needs, isn't it? Just a good chance, a good scoring chance.
Well, we saw her do it at the Champion of Champions. She made a lovely clearance there, actually, against Mark Williams. Albeit the only frame she won, but she proved she could do it under the lights, in front of the crowd. You know, these tables are lightning quick.
Yeah, we can keep talking about that second frame of how big of an opportunity it was for her, but that's in the past now, that's gone. She has to look forward and see this as a new game almost after the interval. Forget the scoreline, just take it frame by frame, and who knows what can happen if you take care of business in the individual frames. You know, you're going to keep mounting them up. She was well behind against Scott Donaldson and did exactly that. So she's certainly capable of doing it. It's just whether or not she can take the chances or capitalise on any mistake that man makes, should he make any.
But what I've noticed is she's getting the respect of the players. I mean, I was in Steve Maguire's press conference earlier, and the only positive thing he said was about her. He was very down on himself and his performance and his record and all the rest of it, but he was asked about her and he was very complimentary. And you don't get any nonsense with Steve, and if he says it, it's because he means it.
She's certainly turned a lot of heads in the snooker world this week. She's certainly turned mine for sure. I've not seen much of Bai Yulu play. Obviously watched her in the Champion of Champions. I've seen her progress this season. Hasn't had all that many results. I was so impressed with how she conducted herself against Mark Williams last week, but this week has really taken it to another level for me. I'm not just saying this, she is a proper player. She certainly belongs on the World Snooker Tour, and to see her mixing it with the best players in the world, every credit to her. It's not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of good players in years gone by that haven't been able to get anywhere near the level that Bai Yulu has competed at this week.
Well, she just missed the cannon there, but there may be a red in the middle of them all that goes.
Maybe a plant as well, which would help. If she can guide the first red onto the potting angle of the second, it may make for an easier chance to keep this break going. Well, there is a little bit of a gap between those two reds, so it's not a gimme this. Digging down as well makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, nicely done. So the break continues. Well, if she's going to put Jack under any pressure, it has to be like this, doesn't it? It has to be making breaks, you feel. Just plant the seed. I mean, you mentioned Wang Yichen earlier, who's 4-0 down to Mark Davis, 1-6-5. You know, it can happen. It has happened many times. Been a lot of coverage on the BBC today, actually. Jamie Broughton here, the snooker reporter, and there's been coverage on 5 Live and across other networks as well. So I know Mandy Fisher, the president of the Women's Snooker Association, has been giving interviews. Very proud day for her. She's built this game up from pretty much nothing, the women's game, to having quite a thriving circuit. You know, they go to China, they go to Australia, America, Thailand, various other exciting places as well. This is the sort of snooker she's been producing this week.
Yeah, obviously keep up to date with all Q Sports on social media, and I often see the destinations that the Women's Tour goes to. It looks incredible. The Women's Tour is the place to be. Some brilliant opportunities, and it's part of the reason why we're seeing the fruits of that here. Bai Yulu competing on that tour.
Slightly awkward queue in there, but she's potted it, so 51 in front. She needs one more red. Yeah, if anyone from the Ox Billiards Club in Seattle is watching, they've had a women's event there for a few years, and everyone raves about that club. Mike Dominguez, the owner there. Well, wouldn't it be great to see her make a century now? She's won the frame. Even if she doesn't win the match, this will be something to remember. Why did I have to speak? Anyway, it was a great break, but only one snooker needed, so Jack Lisowski gets out of his seat. The black, yeah, it just was not quite going to drop, was it? So 52 in front, 51 on, but not quite done yet.
there was one thing to say about Bai Yulu is in a couple of the frames against Scott Donaldson yesterday, she did a very similar thing where she got to the sort of 50, 60 points in front mark and just couldn't quite get that extra ball to kill the frame off and get straight into the next frame and just help the rhythm of the match. Just that miss on the black was a miss that none of us expected from her, and it's just lengthened this frame, put her through a possible little bit of heartache to get over the line in it.
Yeah, one snooker, successful snooker required. Lisowski didn't quite get her nailed in behind the black there. Having another go, and this looks more successful.
And this is exactly the thing I was talking about. If that black goes in, she may have made the century by now and be on with the next frame, but as it happens, it stayed out, and this is potential heartache for Bai Yulu. She has to hit this red, and she hasn't. So where's it going to end up? Not left anything easy for Jack, but the fact he can win the frame now makes a massive difference, obviously. So a chance at the long red now for Jack. If he knocks this in, surely he'll be on a colour to make the clearance. And in goes the red, so that heartache may be about to be amplified for Bai Yulu.
Well, he needed pink or black, didn't he? Because you can only tie with the blue. So this could be a respot yet. Well, it's just about a snooker. Maybe just graze the side of the yellow. Well, in fact, you could see a lot of it. Oh, brilliant. What a pot. And that means we're back to Lisowski needing a snooker. She might actually be in one, but what a yellow.
And what a brave shot to take on as well. Pick that one out. Brilliant pot from Bai Yulu, doing what she's done all week and staying positive regardless of the situation.
If you want to go to 3 now, Sam. So snooker required. We'll come back if anything happens there, but it's looking like 4-1. But we want to keep you across all the matches. Wang Yu-chen, now he's the other player along with Bai who's come from round 1. Actually got back on tour through the Q School this season. A little bit of an unknown quantity, I suspect, in terms of Barry taking him on. Of course, Hawkins is 3-1 up, but chance here to pull one back. Yeah, he beat Lewis Uller 6-2, Mark Davis 6-5. That was from 4-0 down, as we mentioned, and then Robbie Williams 6-4. I can tell you, Bai Yulu is potted green and brown, so that is definitely her first frame on the board. Ah, but Wang Yu-chen has missed that one.
Wang Yu-chen, 35.
Seemed to take a long time over that one. I don't know if he was in two minds or what. He was looking at his options of the red beneath the pink, the one that Barry's just about to take on. Not sure if he'd quite committed to any shot there, and that possibly played a part in missing it.
Well, he's straight back again. Unexpected miss from Hawkins. This is why snooker's such a roller coaster of emotions. You know, he would have felt bad missing that Wang, but had no time really to beat himself up because he's back at the table.
1. Seven. Eight.
Yeah, Wang Yu-chen does need this red on the top cushion, the one that's slightly above the one that's tight. Worth just playing on that now. You can pot this, go up for a colour, and then just pot the loose red behind the yellow.
13.
That would be enough to get over the line in this frame. Well, I didn't intend to be on this to the yellow pocket, although, as it happens, he landed pretty nicely on it. One good piece of cue in here. Yeah, nicely done. And a routine red.
Well, he was going nicely, he missed, and then Hawkins himself immediately missed, and Wang, of course, therefore can forget about his own mistake. That's how snooker works. It could have been, you know, 4-1 there, and he would never have forgotten that miss, but as it is, it's a distant memory, and it should be 3-2. Now it's got a table 4. This is an interesting match. Wu Yize was 2-1 down, went 3-2 up against David Lilly. But as you can see, Lilly here on a break of 61 should be over the line in this frame. So it's a fascinating battle. Youth v experience. There's 28 years between them. David Lilly's the older of the two, by the way. 49, Wu Yize 21. But he's standing up to it. As Stephen said, he had such a great amateur career, 3 times English amateur champion, had a steady job, so didn't turn professional until late in life. He's got all the moves, hasn't he? He's seen so much snooker down the years.
Yeah, he's such a knowledgeable player, David Lilley. Such a lovely bloke as well off the table. Very, very good snooker player. Not much gets past David Lilley.
77.
Still absolutely loves the game after all these years as well. Competes not just on the World Snooker Tour, but plays in a lot of pro-ams that are hosted around the country. Loves his snooker.
Yeah, I get the impression he's one of those people, it's just in the blood. It always will be. You know, at times you can have a love-hate relationship with the game, but just loves getting the cue out, I think. Second year in a row he's been in the final qualifying round.
86.
But can he get himself to the Barbican? Of course, he has won the World Seniors Championship at the Crucible.
97.
Oh, is the blue going to reach? Get in. Yes, no problem. There's the century. David Lilley 3-3. That's a really interesting match now.
It's not just the youngsters that can knock in the big breaks. You never lose it.
115 from David Lilley, 3-3 with Wu Yizet. Ryan Day's really motoring on table 2. He's just picking it up here. He's already just past the point where Sanderson Lamb needs snookers, so it's going to be 5-1. And suddenly a long way back for Sanderson, who did so well yesterday, of course, made that century in the decider against Yuan Sijun.
59.
So Ryan Day is over the line there, 5-1. Bai Yulu has won her first frame, and I'm going to pick it back up here. She's at the table, but she's left the cue ball. I'm not sure she's on the black actually. She's just potted a red. Looks like it goes there, doesn't it? But whether she wants to play it is another matter.
Yeah, it must be quite tight, otherwise I'm sure she would have been down to play it by now, or possibly feels like she may only have half a pocket to aim at. With the cue ball being where it is, very limited to what she can actually do with the shot.
I'm going to ask you a question here, Stephen. I've seen a lot of Chinese players, of course, in this round 10 of them. There's 4 seeded through to York, but we're yet to get a Chinese world champion. So out of all of them, who's the most likely right now?
Very good question. There's been a lot of talk for a number of years, hasn't there, about many different Chinese players. I think you could probably make a case for Si Jiahui. I think he's got a very good all-round game. Trying to think of a player that is probably mature enough to withstand 17 days in Sheffield. I think Si Jiahui has got pedigree, perhaps. He's gone deep. You have to consider Zhao Xingtong if he can get back onto the main tour, which is looking likely this season from the Q Tour. He's probably the most talented of them all. Zhu Si is having a good run of form at the moment. Just not quite sure he's ready. I think, yeah, Si Jiahui for me. Zhou Yulong has been around for a while, and of course Zhao Guodong is enjoying some really good form at the minute. But yeah, Si Jiahui, I like him. I think he's got a really good all-round game that could stand the pressure of 17 days of Sheffield.
Well, meanwhile, that is not a good shot from Bai Yulu. She's given Lisowski an opening here. So it's turning into a rather difficult evening. I'm sure she's been looking forward to this all day. You do not want to leave Jack Lisowski in this position.
But by the way, I would love it to be Ding. He's been a favourite of mine for so long. I just don't know if he's got it in the tank anymore.
I'm going to make a prediction, which is completely fanciful, but don't hold me to it. I'm going to say that eventually there'll be 2 Chinese players in the final. So you'll be guaranteed a winner. It's just who it is. And, you know, Ding could be one of them for sure. Si Jiahui is a good shout. I mean, Zhao Guodong's playing so well, isn't he, at the moment? We'll see in due course. Meanwhile, Lisowski taking the opportunity here to try and develop more reds.
Yeah, again, it was another frame that Bai Yulu was in first and wasn't able to find perfect position, just ran out quickly. So, as he often does, Jack Lisowski's straight into the reds, gets them open, and now look at the table. Very hard to see how he doesn't make a frame-winning break from here.
20.
Not sure exactly what that was, but he's handed it to the referee.
It was a quid, it just fell out his pocket. Yeah, you keep that.
Yeah, of course, the referees, they carry a coin for the sort of toss before the match. It was a rumour for years. There was a referee, I won't say who it was, but years ago, they actually had a double-headed coin. so obviously, you know, if you called tails, you weren't never going to win.
But why? What value is that?
It's for a good story, like years later, I suppose. What other reason is there for anything? All these hours we've got to fill. Lisowski's just like a knife through butter in this sort of situation, isn't he? As long as he focuses, you know, at times, of course, fans have seen it, his concentration just wanders. My theory is he's so good, so naturally talented. It kind of, at times, feels too easy, but it's not easy. If you just take your eye off one, you can miss anything. But he's focused tonight. He knows it's a big match. And he's determined to get the win and, of course, get to York.
It's just how he sort of glides around the table, isn't it? And how he hits the ball. It's just so pure. You just really can't hit the ball any better than how Jack Lisowski does.
51.
Just gets effortless work on the cue ball. Like this type of shot, if he's going to go in and out of balk, it's just a little flick of the wrist and the cue ball just accelerates.
Well, he caught the yellow, but he's still on the red. 44 in front. So,
57.
as we look at, as he looks at the scoreboard, the black to lead by 52, 51 on. Yeah, it was. I'm sure when she left the initial red on, she feared this would happen. So Lisowski's going to be one from victory, and the dream for Bai Yulu is dying. But
64.
what a memorable week it's been for her. And great confidence to take forward. She's not lost yet, but great confidence to take forward if it is to be Lisowski's night, regardless of the result here.
$71. 72. 79. 80.
So no century, but a swift 85. Jack Lisowski ploughs on into a 5-1 lead. We'll be back in due course, but let's go to table 4. Wu Yiza and David Lilley. This is in the balance, 3-3. We saw Lilley with that century in frame 6. Wu Yiza, though, 25 in front on a break of 18 here early in frame 7. Looking to get amongst them. Doesn't seem to have quite worked out. I think he's the sort of player at the Crucible. I know we're just sort of naming players now, but, you know, you could see him intimidating a few seasoned pros if he got on a run there. Just the way he plays.
Yeah, I think he's got the talent and the ability to go mad for a few sessions. That's not in doubt. Has he got the tactical side of his game yet? The cleverness that a lot of these top players have to go on a run and go deep in Sheffield, I'm not sure that is there just yet, but something that he will pick up. Still very young, very raw, I feel. He's done so much already in the game. But yeah, you could make a case for every player, couldn't you? You know, the standard is so good now. Only time will tell. Such an interesting matchup, this, because he's got every trick in the book, David Lilley. So knowledgeable, so experienced. And Wu Yiza is a devastating scorer on his day, so you combine the two of them and it makes for a very difficult match to predict.
Well, that stayed potted. Absolutely thundered that one in, didn't he? Got a nice nudge as well off the middle bump.
And that's why David Lilley was so disappointed when he came away from that safety shot that he played. It was because he knew he'd left Wu Yiza with his hand on the table. And Wu Yiza, the sort of player that just eats that type of shot for breakfast. He spends hours on end at the academy crunching them in all day long. You don't want to believe in him that type of shot, because this will be the result.
Well, it's turned into a very good match, a really intriguing one. The play with all the experience against the young up-and-comer, who seems to be improving all the time, Wu Yiza. Beat Ashley Carty 6-2 in the previous round.
24.
So he's looking for one more red after this one. See him over the line in this frame and take the lead with 4-3. Not an ideal positional shot he's played there though, and you can see the little glance to the heavens because he'd like that one back. He's now got to play a very good shot on the yellow to come around 2 cushions for the red, just 2 down from the pink. Oh, he struck it lovely. Really well struck.
Going to need another good one. He glances at the scores, 53 in front, so not there yet.
Yeah, and if he's pretty straight on this red, there's not really a lot he can do with it but drop it in and possibly try and pot the black down the rail. Well, he won't be entertaining the black now. Time to take your medicine, just push a colour safe. Black's out of commission, which is what David Lilley needs really in play. Just pushing one of the baulk colours to the side rail here. Possibly try and get the cue somewhere on the cushion behind the yellow. Well, he's gone behind the green, tried to get the blue safe, and he's not really made a very good job of that.
Well, we'll be back with that shortly, but Bai Yulu here with an early chance in frame 7. Of course, 5-1 down to Jack Lisowski, who just played a bit of a horror show of a shot, actually, to let her in. Oh dear. Well, it's not impossible that could be her last shot. Lisowski's in the mood tonight to really score heavily. We'll see, but that'll be the concern. Well, I don't think he's on the black. Might be on the pink. Kenny's back.
Yeah, just reflecting that this match could have been so much closer, couldn't it? You know, we go back to that chance he had on the blue back in the second frame. Okay, Lisowski has kicked on from there. That's missed, so it's not over yet, but obviously a tall order for Bai Yulu. But yeah, a couple of frames, she had a taken advantage and played the way she played against Jamie Jones, against Scott Donaldson, Farah Kajib. Might have been a little bit closer, but let's see what she can make of this half chance. This opening red is certainly not easy. Play with a little bit of bottom, a little drag, a little bit of left hand side just to check it off the cushion. Yeah, never easy. And when you're 5-1 down, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Yes, it's starting to look like Jack Lisowski will get enough chances now to win it, whether it's this one or another one. And let's be clear, Jack will enhance any tournament. Great fan favourite. I'm sure he's fed up of people asking when he's going to win one, but if he's there, he'll be dangerous for sure.
Yeah, just love the way he plays. Very quick fire, very natural. He hits the ball just so well, so crisp. Gets a great reaction on that cue ball.
Just to say, Wu Yiza won that frame we were just watching, so 4-3. to him against David Lilly. It's 3-2 still to Barry Hawkins over Wang Yichen. 5-1 Ryan Day over Sanderson Lamb. They're still early in the next frame there. Can Jack Lisowski bring this home?
14.
Yeah, nice little cannon on the red, hole for the black. Yeah, I think he can. I think this is, you know, this is sort of coming to the end of this match. You would feel, I mean, not a lot can go wrong here. Just positional play, I presume, but all those reds that you see, the 3 reds from that angle, will be potable into this corner pocket once this red is released. Could play for pink here. Pink is easy. And it's a natural little angle down for those 3 reds into this bottom left corner. He's one of those players as well, isn't he, David? He goes into the draw, a top 16 player. He's one of those names they wouldn't mind avoiding.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm sure Murphy will tell you that from that quarter-final a couple of years ago. He just got on an absolute scoring rampage, 4 centuries in a row. That's the sort of thing he can do. At other times, maybe his focus wanders a bit and then he's beatable. You're never quite sure what you're going to get from him, but on top form, what a prospect.
Yeah, got a little bit too far for the blue, but being left-handed can reach for the yellow. Back up for that red just below the blue. Played it nicely.
39.
Now he may, even though he's got the 2 reds available, play a little cannon into the pink and red. Hold for those 2 reds, and of course bringing that red out into play as well. Not the cannon he would have wanted, but still got a red into the left centre. Bai Yulu looking on. Will she get another chance?
14.
Can't see it myself.
What an adventure it's been, though. 3 terrific wins. She's created a lot of excitement and hopefully inspiration as well for other girls and women who want to take up snooker
50.
and certainly want to watch this. Is still, remember, her first season, and she's got within 1 round of qualifying for one of our biggest tournaments.
51.
Yeah, she's done brilliantly. I mean, when you consider the opposition, I mean, okay, Farid Kajib, his first year on the tour, but he's been on the tour before. Jamie Jones, well, that was a wonderful victory against a very experienced player. Player who lost the crucible, had some big scalps in his day, and indeed Scott Donaldson, very experienced player as well. So 35 ahead. Black 42. Can he get the red out? Oh, it looks good. Good angle. Has he hit it hard enough? No. Yeah, but I think overall, on the whole, I think she's done brilliantly well, hasn't she?
Ah, terrific, yeah. Absolutely terrific. 2 snookers needed here. Otherwise, it is Lisowski going through. And assuming he does, of course, Rob will catch up with him. Well, it's not a snooker, and he might be able to cut this in. If he does, then it's over for sure. Not playing the pot. Well, he's hit that so hard. And it stayed out.
It looked like it almost went into the pocket and came back out again. Now can she chip the red towards the black? Try and lay a snooker up towards the bulk area. The line is pretty good. Oh, almost. Very unlucky. Great idea. Trying to get that red right behind the black.
Lisowski just got to be sure that he doesn't do anything daft here. He should win now, obviously. Careful of the cue ball running towards pockets and all the rest of it.
I wonder, will he attempt a double here, or will he try and get that white back around behind the black? White behind the black it is. And the green, well, it's given him a full ball snooker. Easy hit off the ball cushion.
Well, this is a spot of bother. She needs two snookers. This is the sort of position she'd like to have Jack in, I'm sure. With a chance of hitting the black. Referee positioning herself, Deshislava Boshalova, to make sure that she can be on the scene to see which ball is hit. And it was the red. And the red has flown in the pocket. What a great pot to win it. It's been a good performance tonight from Jack Lisowski. Bai Yulu, the women's world champion, has earned a lot of support and a lot of respect this week by reaching the final qualifying round of the UK Championship. But it's Jack Lisowski who advances to the final stages in York. He's beaten her by 6 frames to 1. Sanderson Lamb fighting back meantime against Ryan Day. 5-2 it's going to be. Just caught the last shot there. And of course we'll hear from Jack Lisowski shortly. So 5-2 there. It's 4-3 to Wu Yizha against David Lilley. And here on table 3, 3-2. Look at this. We're picking it up with 6 points in it. 3-2 Barry Hawkins over Wang Yu Chen, who's come from round 1, as has Bai Yulu. The only 2 in this round have done that. And really putting Hawkins under it here. He has been on tour before. He's back on. He's 27, came through the Q school, so he earned his place.
Yeah, very impressive week from Wang Yu Chen. Some good scalps under his belt. This would be another one. 3-1 down at the interval, so big frame. Oh, this may be is it gonna hit the knuckle of the middle pocket? Hit the near one. He's okay. Well, that was a fluke. Hand went up. An apology. And what a fluke it is, because he just needs the blue. 10 points in the difference. And it's the type of blue that players would practice quite a lot. Blue off the spot into one of the ball colour pockets. Gotta stay so still on this particular shot. Lovely shot. Very, very good.
Well, it was a big fluke, and it was a great blue, so it's looking like 3 each, but let's hear from Jack Lisowski. He's with Rob.
Yes, Jack is safely into tomorrow afternoon's draw and a comprehensive win in the end, Jack.
Yeah, it was obviously it was all about Bai. Would have been incredible if she could have qualified, but she had an incredible run anyway. But it was just about trying to keep my concentration tonight. I get easily distracted normally at the best of times, so obviously with that storyline it was in the back of my head. But I think she missed the blue to make it 1-1, and then I just made like 50s and 60s I think each frame, and it wasn't I don't know if we sort of dragged each other down a little bit, but it was still, obviously I'm happy to get through.
It was a huge moment for her missing that blue, wasn't it? And she'd done well to put herself in a position where she could have potentially stolen that second frame. It felt like a big moment early on.
Yeah, I think she's been I watched a bit of a game against Scott yesterday or the day before, and she was she was nicking a lot of frames with good breaks. So I thought, yeah, gosh, she might dish here, and then if it's 1-1, it's obviously game on. But I think that was probably the kind of like the key moment in the match.
Everybody loves watching you, and we were saying in commentary 2 years ago when you had that epic run and you had that incredible match against Sean where you didn't look like you could miss a ball. It was like watching a computer game, and you're in the draw again. There'll be a lot of people excited that you're at the UK Champs. How are you feeling about your game right now?
I'm not really sure. I think it's just a bit patchy. Some good, some not so good. I don't know.
What have you been doing practice-wise? Usual? Less? More?
No, less. I've been in Dubai for like the last 2 weeks playing Mohammed Joker there. I just play him each morning for like 2 hours. Just a couple like best of sevens and that. I haven't like played loads, but I think at the moment, I don't know, I'm pretty... Sometimes you just apply yourself, and I feel like I'm applying myself and getting the most out of what I've got at the minute, and I'm actually kind of enjoying my snooker a little bit, so that's good.
Well, that's the key, and I can tell there's a little bit of a sparkle in your eye. We're delighted that you've made it through to the UK Champs. It'll be a great occasion, whoever comes out the draw for you tomorrow afternoon. Thanks very much for chatting, and we'll see you in Yorkshire. So, Jack Lisowski is safely through. We've got plenty of drama still to come. Straight back to comms.
Yes, well done to Jack, our first winner of the night. Will Ryan Day be our second? He's 5-2 up to Sanderson Lamb. And what a pot that is from the man they call Dynamite. That was pretty explosive, Ken.
Oh, I love that shot. We always talk about these middle pockets, how, you know, the angle is so acute on them and tightest pockets on the table. But, yeah, well, he played that beautifully, didn't he? Look at the position on the black. Ooh. Too much, I think. Got into the cue ball. Okay, he's got the red in the left centre again, but I really wanted to be on this red into the right corner. Yeah, held for the pink into the right centre. He's okay. Now he's going to play. He's going to play a little screw back for that red at the back of the pack. He tried to get on a moment ago. And once again, he's over-screwed it again. The only good thing about this shot is that he's left a nice angle on the red that if he cuts it in, cue ball will be careering into the pack of reds. It's sure to bring some more reds into play, and he could be on the black. Well, is he going to go for it?
Oh, what a recovery. Well, this is already in a very adventurous 29 break, isn't it? Well, he's doing it
21.
rather an orthodox way, but he can bring some reds into play here. I think Ryan Day, he's one of these players, you know, he's won big tournaments and he's got a great reputation. He's just a bit erratic, isn't he? His form comes and goes. But playing his best in this sort of position, he's a heavy scorer and he's a danger. Well, it's turning into a good chance to get it won. Ryan Day, semi-finalist in the UK in 2017. I think for the British players, particularly of Ryan's age in his 40s, you know, this is a very special tournament. They've grown up watching it. They can remember the old David Vine years in the 80s, Preston Guildhall, all of that, Davis winning year after year, Hendry year after year in the 90s, and many other great moments. So it's a very special event, and to be in the televised phase, just 32, it's a real boost of confidence.
Yeah, it's got a great tradition, hasn't it? I remember watching it all those years ago when Higgins was 7-0 down, wasn't he, to Steve Davis. He had a great rivalry during the 80s. He came back to beat him 16-15. Steve Davis was so difficult to beat, wasn't he, in that tournament during the 80s. Then Stephen Hendry came along and he dominated the UK Championship for a good number of years. Jimmy White won it. Beat Parrott in the final, I remember, one year.
41.
Jimmy White's the only player to have his nickname on the trophy. If you look at 92, it says Jimmy Whirlwind White, actually engraved on the trophy.
Wow.
42.
They couldn't fit the jester from Leicester on it, that's why.
47. 48.
Well, what happened there? Saying it went the other way. The match kind of looked over, didn't it? Well, this is Wu Yizu. Oh. Wow. I wasn't quite sure where to look there. I was watching the red, but the cue ball's the one. Look where it's finished. Thank you very much. David Lilly, not too keen to get out of his seat, but anyway.
I don't blame him, do you? I mean, he was sitting there in total bemusement of what exactly just unfolded. He was looking at a nice red over the corner pocket. Look at that.
Well, we just thought we'd show you that, but let's go back to this match. Ryan Day, he's back in, so despite that little slip up, he's got a good lead in this frame. Barry Hawkins still 3-all with Wang Yuchen. Hawkins in front in the next with a good chance for 4-3, but that's a tightly contested affair. Needed to avoid the brown.
Yeah, the problem is he's 53 points in the lead, but you know, he's going to bring the pink into play. He's going to bring some reds into play here. He doesn't have any insurance. But I tell you what, he's played a good safety shot here. Excellent.
Well, we'll be back over if he gets another chance, but we want to just show you Barry Hawkins on a big break here. He's on 61 already. Still plenty on the table. First things first, nail down the frame. Think about that Wu Yizu fluke snooker. He was apologetic, but he had a massive smile on his face at the same time. So there were sort of mixed signals he was giving off.
Yeah, unlike David Lilly, who was only giving off one signal. That was bewilderment. Yeah, what's he left?
68.
68, one more red required. He's got one red up into the yellow pocket. Looks pretty straight. He could even pot that into the left centre maybe.
Just to say quickly, Wu Yizu has gone 5-3 up on David Lilly. We saw that fluke snooker. It certainly helped. Frame ball for Hawkins. Looks like he's taking it to middle. Yep, so a nice break from Barry Hawkins after that outrageous fluke on the brown from Wang Yuchen at the end of the last frame. Potted a good blue after that, it's got to be said. Well, we must go to table one because Ryan Day's got his chance to get it won. This is match ball, in fact. He'll be relieved not to be dragged into deciders and sort of midnight finishes. He's got the job done pretty comfortably overall. Sanderson Lamb's had a terrific week. But, of course, in many ways, the UK Championship is his home event, and he's not going to be, I'm afraid, in the final stages this year. So like Steve Maguire, like Stuart Bingham, a very experienced player, ranking tournament winner multiple times, is going to be in that draw tomorrow. I think the bow tie's come off from Sanderson there. He's getting ready for a swift exit. As I say, he's had a good week, but of course will be disappointed not to make it to the Barbican in York.
Yeah, but something to build on for Sanderson Lamb. He's got some ranking points this week. Move him up. I'm sure that black is rolled off slightly, but the handshake is imminent. There it is. Ryan Day into the draw for tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, another very dangerous qualifier for sure. So we'll hear from him in due course. Go back to table 3. One snooker needed, so Hawkins made that 69 break, but still a glimmer for Wang Yuchen here. I should say as well, I said that he and Bai Yulu come from round 1. Of course, Xiao Xingtong as well, who we'll see tomorrow. I meant today, obviously, but anyway. Always that slight anxiety when it's just one snooker needed. Hawkins, if he can put the red away though, should be 4-3 in front. Well, he's overcut it. He'll take second prize, and it's quite a big prize. He's got him snookered. Yeah, he was a bit lucky, but he'd made the nice break already. So just this match and the Wu Yize David Lilley match left on. That's 5-3 to Wu Yize. Are any of them going to end up in a decider? We had a 59-minute decider earlier between Steve Maguire and Elliot Slesser. That red should nail down the frame for Hawkins. In fact, Wang has conceded. So 4-3 to Barry Hawkins. Wu Yize is in early on here, trying to get this one against David Lilley. Just the way he plays and his stature. I was saying earlier, Ken, he seems to get taller every time you see him. He's very imposing, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. Wonderful talent, no doubt about that. 4-0 up, wasn't he, against Judd Trump in Riyadh? Lost 5-4. That would have been a very hurtful playing journey home from there. Well, he's been unlucky with that split. Went into the reds quite nicely, but nothing easily available.
No, but he's shown his intent. He's trying to kill this off as quickly as he can. Has to wait for another opportunity. David Lilley was beaten in this round last year, and he's going to have to try and contain his opponent if he's going to turn this round. It's difficult playing someone very confident, the fearlessness of youth and all of that.
There's pressure on every shot now for David Lilley. Any sort of half mistake, leaving a shot to nothing, half shot, free shot even, could be his last. So back down to balk, just try and keep the pressure on. Oh, that's going in off. It's not great. It'll give David Lilly the opportunity. He could take one of these reds on into the left corner. Now can he cue this nicely and hold the cue ball for pink or black? Once again, as I said, a bit more pressure now. Every shot he takes on or plays could be his last if he doesn't get this. Well played. Good pot. He's okay.
Well, David Lilly in, but let's hear from our 6th qualifier today for the Barbican. Ryan Day is with Rob.
Ryan, congratulations. Delighted to have you in the big draw tomorrow afternoon. You're back for your 12th appearance in the last 32 of the UK Championship. Great win tonight.
Yeah, played okay from the third frame onwards. Bit edgy to start with, but settled down a bit and, yeah, played probably as well as I played for quite a bit of time. So, yeah, looking forward to going back to Barbican. It's not a tournament that I've got a particularly great record in. I've got to the semis once, which, like I said, 12 attempts is not fantastic. But, yeah, got through the qualifying here and up to York and see what happens up there.
Is that, do you think, the best you've played so far this season? Or close to it?
Possibly. It was nice that the tables, there's kind of a bit of a premium on accuracy. There's a couple of tournaments that we've played in before this event. Pockets have just been a little bit on the generous side, and yeah, it kind of takes away a bit of the skill, I think. But yeah, looking forward to being in York. And 2 years ago I played Jimmy White there, obviously, and I don't remember being in an atmosphere like that. Possibly the Masters when you're playing Ronnie or one of the top guys. But yeah, looking forward to going back.
I'll never forget that. It was a fantastic moment. You showed Jimmy so much respect when you came down. And by the way, today has been a fantastic day for Welsh players. Jack Jones is through, Jackson Page is through, and you've made it a hat-trick of Welshmen coming through the cauldron of Judgement Day. Yeah,
obviously they two great players as well. Jack Jones probably the highest seed, is he? I'm guessing
17th. Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's not nice coming here knowing you've just missed out on automatic qualification by one spot. But all credit to him. He's got the job done, and I know we've got at least one more Welshman tomorrow, Matthew. But I don't know if there's any others. But good luck to the lads, and hopefully I'll see him up there.
Great stuff. Well, we'll look forward to pulling your name out the draw tomorrow. Well done, Ryan. We will see you at the Barbican. Great stuff.
Well, Ryan Day, another big hitter into the draw for tomorrow afternoon. So many good players into that draw, isn't there already, Ken? And we say it every year, but it's true. The standard just keeps getting better and better, and there's a number of players that the top 16 will definitely want to avoid.
Yeah, and he's one of them, I suppose. Like, you know, he's got a good repertoire of, you know, tournament wins and beating big scalps, and he's dangerous. He's got a lot of experience, you know. Let's move over to table 4. Let's see what's happening over there. Will Yiza in? Can he convert to seal his place in the next round? And of course up to the Barbican and in that draw tomorrow. And this is another guy. I mean, he's been playing so well this year, hasn't he? You know, we saw him play really well against Trump out in Riyadh, gone 4-0, losing 5-4. But apart from that result, he's been steadily like climbing the rankings. He's looking better and better. Every time I watch him play, he's got everything. And, you know, he's going to be a big star, this young kid. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, I think he's certainly been on my shortlist for a while as to the next possible ranking event winner from China. Wu Yiza is a very, very talented player. Big practicer as well over in Ding's Academy. I remember a couple of years ago going when he actually first came over, and his dad's with him day in, day out, picking balls out for him, just fielding the routines, doing the drills, putting the hard yards in for moments like this to stand you well in the pressurised situations. And, well, he's dealt with it very nicely this evening. Wu Yiza looking to put the finishing touches to this match now.
good solid cue action. Strikes the ball, lovely. Good cue power when he needs it. He's been knocking in the big breaks as well, which tells you that he's got good control of the cue ball.
That run to the final at the English Open where he had a spell of frames against Neil Robertson that were just absolutely spellbinding. Really did just show us exactly what he's capable of, and on his day he can mix it with the best players in the world. There's something in there, isn't there? You can just see it, just bubbling away, waiting to explode. Perhaps this event could be the one. So brutal, these qualifiers, aren't they? As good as the players are here, you're never guaranteed to come through. We saw that with Neil Robertson at the World Championship qualifiers. Everyone thought he was nailed on to come through, and he didn't. He was beaten by Jamie Jones, and it just shows you there's no right for any player to come through these. They can be really testing, but ultimately, if you play well, you've got every chance, and Wu Yize has played very well. Took out Ashley Carty in the previous round with a couple of high 130 breaks.
Yeah, just a quick glance at the score, 41 points in the lead, so red in the colour will be enough, but he'd really like one more red just to stop his opponent coming back to the table. He's got a good angle on the blue, just enough he can maybe disturb the top red of the two that's closest to the middle pocket. Just move that off the cushion. Perfect. So this red to guarantee himself a place in the last 32 and a trip to the Barbican in York. It's not there, so he may have to wait a little bit longer.
Never easy, that type of shot. Just a little cut back into a blind pocket. Purely relying on your line. He didn't quite find one there. Nah, but David Lilley leaving the red hanging, and that surely is going to be that. He will definitely be doing the gentlemanly thing and letting Wu Yize carry on here, but he'll be ready to shake his hand. And there is the concession. So Wu Yize, another name into the hat for the draw tomorrow afternoon. Who will he take on at the Barbican? Another player that the top 16 will probably not enjoy playing. On his day, he can really mix it with the best of them. Well done to Wu Yize, a 6-3 winner over the very, very experienced David Lilley. So that's 3 of our 4 matches already completed this evening, and we're not even at 10 PM. We're absolutely flying through the action here in Leicester. Our final match of the evening, we can focus all our attentions on it now. Barry Hawkins, Wang Yu Chen. Barry with a slender lead in this match, 4-3, but 50 points to the good up in this frame, just looking to assert himself once again and get a more comfortable lead. He's played quite nicely this week, Wang Yu Chen, a player that's come right through from round 1. Very difficult thing to do that in these tiered systems, but it just shows when you're putting players in an event, playing people around their own rankings, it's, in my opinion, Ken, so much better for the all-round game, because you're playing a player of your standard, building into the tournament, gaining confidence, ranking points, prize money. You just feel good about yourself in general, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been knocking on that door for quite some time now, and I think it's a lovely, you know, this tiered system, particularly for the UK. I think it really works well, and the fact that when you go to the Barbican, that 2-table setup is so much better than the way it used to be with 4 tables out the front. It was just too much going on, and even for the crowd, it's just very hard to drum up a lot of atmosphere, but it's so much better now. And I think the players enjoy it. Okay, these players, you know, they might not enjoy it so much that they have to go through the ordeal of these qualifiers. But I think in the long run, I think they appreciate it more when they get there and they're in the last 32. Well, it's worth it. You know, it makes the tournament that bit more special.
Yeah, because if you have booked your place at the Barbican, you know you've had to earn it, and you know you're then going to be on centre stage. Whereas a couple of seasons ago, I actually had a couple of games myself out the back in the stadium, which was outside of the main arena sort of thing at the Barbican, just playing with the 4 tables in a row, and you could hear the roar of the crowd in the main auditorium, and it just wasn't nice. You know, you wanted to be in the Barbican centre stage playing against the best players, of course, but it's much better now. When you're there playing, you're going to be on table 1 or 2, and it just feels like a big event again. Because no one wants to go to the Barbican at York and be out the back, and if you don't come through that match, you still don't feel like you've been a part of the event.
Yeah, totally agree. Cue ball just a little bit short before the yellow. It leaves him a chance on this red. Yeah, I think it's, you know, the tiered structure. I know, like, it's had its opposition, but I think overall, the point that you made about players, you know, swimming in a certain pool and right from round 1 with players of their own standard, and when they, you know, they win matches, get a bit of confidence, get a bit of prize money, it just helps their own development as well. I think that's very, rather than running into top seeds in first round every time and they're coming all the way from China or overseas, it's very difficult to get a, you know, a standpoint on the rankings. But with a tiered system, which for some events, not for everyone, it just gives them a fair chance and to get on the ladder and get some prize money and ranking points in the bag.
Yeah, and I can speak from experience. The first year I got on the circuit back in 2014, a lot of the events was the flat draw, and I was obviously absolutely buzzing to be a professional snooker player, and pretty much every time I went out to play it was like a cup final, because I was playing the big names, Mark Selby, Ding, Sean Murphy. My debut at the Barbican was actually against Mark Williams, and as good as that was at the time, you know, it was a great day for me, a great day for my family, friends and supporters. It's a soon harsh realisation that when you are getting it handed to you day in, day out, you know, you're not earning the money, you're not earning the ranking points, and ultimately, after those 2 years, you're going to be relegated from the circuit, and that really isn't a fun place to be.
Just avoided the double kiss. Now, has he left anything into this either corner pocket? I don't think Barry's going to go for the open red. I think he more a bit conscious of safety and trying to protect this lead. So cue ball, trying to hide it up behind the yellow here. It's pretty good though. You'll certainly be happy with that.
Yeah, it's a good shot because he's cut off the left side of any reds down that side to get back to Bork, and there's plenty of traffic down this right side, so Wang Yu Chen in a spot of bother. Well, what better way to get yourself out of trouble? If in doubt, smash one in.
What a pot that was. Well, you can't cue the ball much better than this. Have a look at this again. Beautiful cueing. Wonderful. And the top spin to go with it. It's just, oh, that's magnificent.
Look at how straight his cue stayed throughout that whole delivery. That was a sweet spot shot.
this looks pretty good. So what a chance he's given himself. Okay. Green is in a safe-ish position, but these 5 reds and colours will give him, well, if not 40 points, almost close to it. So he'd be well back in the frame. Playing this with a lot of right hand side just to check it off the top cushion into those 2 reds. Oh, he's played it well. Oh, that was a lovely shot. Not an easy shot when you're playing it with someone's side. You got to avoid and allow for the throw on the cue ball.
Been a couple of really close frames in this match already. Frame 4 and frame 6 could have gone either way. This has the potential to be a very close frame as well. Wang Yu Chen can just get himself back into this frame at least, give himself a chance on the colours. Thinking well ahead here, but off the final black, should he leave himself the black off the last red, may have the chance to try and develop that green off the side cushion with the yellow being deep balk. Well, a little bit of a mistake. Holding the pink spot, sending the pink up the table. Doesn't have to worry too much about that. Well, he'll have one eye on that green, just in the back of his mind about how best to go about dealing with that.
Yeah, Hong Kong native Wang Yu Chen. Actually speaking to David Rowe, who's over here, so he was on the coaching staff of Team Hong Kong. And he, speaking to him yesterday, he was talking about Wang Yu Chen and how well he's been playing, and he really, really rates him. Dave Rowe, of course, was on a professional circuit for a good number of years from Derby. They play for pink here. Yeah, pink would be ideal. And he's got to leave a nice angle. So pot the pink and just move that cue ball just a couple of inches below the green spot. Leave a nice angle. So when potting the yellow, you can get that cue ball over towards the right-hand side, towards that green.
Yeah, with the green being slightly away from the cushion, it's quite a big target to possibly promote it. Just high on the yellow would be perfect, as you say, Ken.
I think he's perfect, isn't he? Now, what does he do? Does he try and bring the green out? Or does he try and nestle in behind it? Or try and take it into its own pocket? And he's got a few options here. I'd like to try and maybe nestle it out just a couple of inches. And if he doesn't get the cannon, he could still have the pot on into the green pocket. Yeah, that's the angle. Unlucky. Unlucky.
Yeah, I like the pace he played that, because you're right, if he didn't get the right cannon, there was always a chance he was going to drift this side and still have that shot available. Just didn't quite get into it as he wanted to. But at least he's back in the frame.
Yeah, just wondering, will he play the double? It's risky. Safety shot is quite straightforward. Double is dangerous. He's gone for the double. And that was the problem. I don't think he's got the snooker. I think Barry has a shot at this green.
Well, he had a good look at that, Barry, and decided against attempting the pot. He hasn't got the green safe, but he's got a good cue ball. Very awkward cueing. Number one priority in this situation, get the object ball safe. Oh, he's potted it. Wow, goodness me. I don't think there's any way that he went for that.
Well, I don't know. What a shot, though, isn't it? Definitely, even if he didn't go for it, I'd definitely be claiming it, you know. Can he follow it up? This is difficult enough as well. No, always so difficult, that. Jaws of the pocket, he's left it. And after a wonderful green, well, it could end up costing him the frame.
How good was that pot from bridging over the black, cueing down on it? The green is pretty much out of vision. So easy to put a little trace of unwanted side on that, on these super slippy reactive cloths. That could have gone anywhere. But wasn't able to follow it up with a pot on the brown, so Barry Hawkins with the balls at his mercy to extend his lead to 2 frames.
9.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, nice, just off straight blue. Pink for 5-3. 2 in front, 1 from home. And it's there. Excellent. Little clearance from Barry Hawkins. Wang Yu Chen will be, well, he'll feel a little bit aggrieved. He had a good chance on the brown there after a wonderful green. Cost him the frame. And it's all uphill now. These are the last 3 remaining frames for a place at the Barbican. Barry Hawkins looking very good indeed.
So a lot of very intense action has happened and unfolded already today, and it's down to this, the final match here on Judgment Day, Part 1. Barry Hawkins against Wang Yu Chen. Barry 1 frame away from putting his name in the hat for tomorrow's draw. We've got so many good matches coming up tomorrow as well. So much to look forward to. So we're going to just play in quickly while we're waiting for the players to return back to the arena. The winning moment from last year, 2023, the Rocket against Ding Junhui.
Ronnie led 3-0. He was going to walk away with it, but Ding Junhui has played superbly well. Most of his frames have been won with 1 visit, and well done to Ding Junhui. Great to see him back to his best form, but you're just witnessing the greatest genius that's ever picked a snooker cue up here.
88. $94. 95.
Century break. It just keeps getting better and better. Are they going to keep the applause going while he's clearing up? Why not? You're witnessing something very, very special.
Legend.
Well, so much shout about legend, and he still potted the red. don't think a legend's a strong enough word for what you're
150.
watching here.
117.
Right-handed, left-handed. He's averaging 13 seconds a shot, all the way around the angles to get on the blue. Here it comes. Don't hit the pink.
124.
I think these two players will give each other a big hug because they have given us a final that is absolutely incredible. And listen to the crowd here. Just listen to them. Don't go in the pocket. It doesn't matter. The crowd are on their feet. The players are smiling. Isn't that lovely to see? But you can't take it away from the genius that is Ronnie O'Sullivan. He becomes the 2023 Mr. Q UK champion.
Well, it's a rather more sedate atmosphere here tonight at the Mattioli in Leicester. Serious business, of course. That was incredible. I was there for that last year. It was an unbelievable atmosphere in the arena. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 30 years after becoming the youngest UK champion, became the oldest and extended his record to 8. Tomorrow afternoon we'll find out who's playing. He starts the show on Saturday afternoon. The draw will be made at some point in our coverage tomorrow afternoon. Stephen and Ken are doing the draw. Barry Hawkins trying to get himself in it. Just won a big frame, or so it feels, that 8th, just to give him that 5-3 advantage. So can Hawkins join some other experienced players tonight and throughout the course of the day? The likes of Ryan Day, Stephen Maguire, Stuart Bingham. These sort of 40-something multiple ranking event winners, can he join them in the draw? The only match on, so no sort of distractions, not even anyone practicing. It's all about these two now. Not that many people watching here, but whoever is here, he's watching this one.
He's potted some wonderful balls, Wang Yuchen, in this match so far, but now one frame away from being eliminated from the event against a very experienced and prolific winner in Barry Hawkins. Barry knows how to get over the line in these big matches. Wang Yuchen enjoying a great week of snooker. Valuable ranking points on the board for him.
Very nicely done. So he's in the frame. He needs to win the match. Barry Hawkins, former World Championship runner-up, twice Masters runner-up, semi-finalist in the UK Championship 3 years ago. So he has gone deep in these big tournaments. Of course, he's won, aside from that, 4 ranking titles. I guess if we were going to consider, and at this time of night we might as well, the best players never to win a Triple Crown tournament, then Barry would be very high up on that list. Ali Carter's another obvious contender, a couple of World Finals, a couple of Masters Finals. Marco Fu, who we saw yesterday. He's been in a UK final and a Masters final. I think you need to have been in a final but not won one. So they're the three that immediately spring to mind.
Yeah, he had a spell in Sheffield, didn't he, for a number of years, Barry Hawkins, where, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, he just kept coming up against Ronnie O'Sullivan, which is not the sort of player you want to come up against in those big matches there. He played brilliantly well for a number of years.
Still time, of course, to win one.
13.
Doing what all good break builders do here, Barry, and he's acknowledged the balls that were problem balls at the start of this break, in particular the red that was just by the black spot, removed that as quickly as possible. And now this is slowly starting to open up and become a very good scoring chance. The reds are very nicely spread already. Wang Yuchen can only watch on and hope now.
Hawkins, another example of a player, we've seen a few. Jack Lisowski, another example, who could easily have been seeded at the UK Championship. Wasn't quite in the 16. It's never been harder or more competitive in terms of getting in that elite bracket. Hawkins 20, hence he's having to qualify, but he's going to, again, be a tough draw for somebody. If he can close this out now. Remember last year you played Mark Selby and they were sharing a flat, so it was a bit awkward. It's even more awkward when Selby beat him at midnight.
Especially when Barry checked out and didn't pay the bill.
Well, he just lost the run of the cue ball here.
Well, he is literally gobsmacked. He's overscrewed that cue ball by, well, some distance. That's a big error from Barry. Didn't see that coming.
Hawkins, 44.
Yeah, but he had the presence of mind just to take a moment and try and play an effective safety. It's a useful lead. The pressure's on Wang Yuchen here, for sure. Oh, it is now after that shot. That could be the end.
That was such a risky shot to take on because he had to catch that red absolutely perfect to find the thin edge and get back to baulk. And the angle he was coming at it from, should he miss it like he did, he was always going into those reds. Big mistake. It could be his last. Let's have another look at that. The angle he was coming at that red from baulk, it was very, he needed to be very accurate. He had another option of a thin edge. All his safety options were very difficult, mind. I'm sure Barry was out of his chair like a rocket, having made such an elementary mistake a few moments ago. How quickly he's back to the table.
Yeah, exactly what you want. Just carry on as if nothing had happened. Looking good to become our 8th qualifier. Of course, there's 8 more matches tomorrow. In the afternoon, Zhao Xingtong returns to play Ricky Walden. We've got Zhou Yulong against Matt Selt, Julian Leclerc against Dave Gilbert, Lei Pei Fan against Ben Wollaston. And then at night, Neil Robertson against Matthew Stevens, 2 former champions. Robert Milkins against Yu Se, He Guo Chang against Stan Moody, and Lu Hongyu against Michael Holt. So the black to lead by 74 with 67 on. The last frame was a big one, wasn't it? The way Hawkins won it. Very tense battle on the colours. Looking at the pink either way, it'll be 2 snookers needed. Well, as I say, I mean, I've said it all day, but it applies to Barry Hawkins as well. It's another tough qualifier for the seeds. Of course, he's been seeded so often himself. But he goes there, of course, with matches under his belt and not with that first round pressure of no ranking points if you lose. And that adds to the danger, I think.
Just look at the list of players that have come through today. All 8 players absolutely brilliant. The lineup for York is looking exceptional already. And we've still got 8 more names to add to the draw tomorrow.
So Barry Hawkins is our 8th qualifier, our final qualifier on the first Judgment Day here in Leicester. He defeats Wang Yu Chen, who had such a great run from round 1, but it ends here in the final round. Barry Hawkins puts himself into the draw in York, and of course he'll find out tomorrow who he will be playing. And as Stephen says, he joins a very impressive list of qualifiers who have made it through here today. So a fascinating day. Do stay with us. We're going to hear from Barry shortly. But there are no weak links, are there? The people who've come through, there's some very experienced players there, some young players coming through as well. And, well, if you're a seed, I don't think you want to play any of them, but we'll find out tomorrow who they will play. Just looking ahead to tomorrow, Stephen, just while we wait for Rob. Well, Zhao Xingtong in the afternoon against Ricky Walden. Can he make it through?
Yes. The short answer, I think he can. He's certainly playing well enough too. Obviously, he's got a very tough game against Ricky Walden, but he came through a very tough one against Noppon Sankam. Obviously, he's got the pedigree. He's gone all the way in this tournament before. Who's to say he can't do it again?
And at night, of course, Neil Robertson is back. I mean, he only just dodged that bullet last night, playing Matthew Stevens. That'll be a cracker.
Yeah, and it was a bullet that he dodged last night, wasn't it? Oliver Lyne so very well played against Neil Robertson. Just wasn't quite able to get over the line. Got very tense, very close. I feel like we've been shortchanged tonight. I can't believe we're finishing pre-midnight, Dave.
Well, feel free to stay 2 more hours if you want to, but there's no more snooker to be watched. But there's a lot to think about, and our man in the studio, Rob Walker, will be doing exactly that.
Guys, top shift by Dave Hendon and Stephen Hallworth, and they were here well beyond midnight last night, so they thoroughly deserve a glass of orange juice and an early night before we go again. And I don't think we will get this fortunate in 24 hours' time. We will surely end up burning the midnight oil tomorrow. We've had 8 brilliant qualifiers coming through in the afternoon and the evening. Lovely blend of youth and experience. Here is how they all made it through. Jack Jones, a 6-3 winner against Fan Sheng Yi. Hossein Vafai fell down to Jackson Page. A really comprehensive win for Jackson. That was a reversal of a Judgment Day match last year for the World Championship that Hossein won 10-6. And Hossein Vafai was a semi-finalist in the UK last year. So brilliant win for Jackson Page. Stephen Maguire, well, he was on fire just about. A 59-minute decider. Brilliant pot on the green and a fabulous pot on the blue as well to deny Elliot Slessor a place in tomorrow's draw. So Maguire is back. 20 years after he lifted the title. And Stuart Bingham absolutely thrashed poor old Jimmy Robertson, who just wasn't quite at the races today after making it through to Judgment Day. Stuart looked pin sharp and in great form. Jack Lisowski, a comprehensive winner against Bai Yulu. Bai Yulu, though, a brilliant, brilliant run to make it to Judgment Day. 16 half-century breaks across the 4 matches, and maybe if she'd got that blue in the second frame and gone 1-all, we might have seen a slightly different story. Ryan Day comprehensively over the line into a 12th campaign of the last 32 or beyond at the UK Champs. Made the semis back in 2017. Decent points picked up for Sanderson Lamb. That'll help him in his battle later on in the season. Barry Hawkins, we've just seen an excellent victory from the Hawk. And then we've got Wu Yizha beating David Lilley. That completes our 8 players through to Judgment Day. 1 interview left, and it is the man who was so legendarily introduced abroad by our Latvian MC. Look that one up on YouTube. It is absolutely incredible. No, if you're looking for a drummer in your music band, I could go on. Barry, anyway, let's get back onto the important business. Great win. You're in the draw tomorrow, and we'll be at the Barbican. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, delighted. It's not nice, coming here and having to qualify. It's tough out there, and it's it's hard.
And it's good today to see some of the old guys still delivering. Stephen Maguire coming through that epic decider against Elliott. Stuart Bingham looked really good against an out of sorts Jimmy Robertson, and Ryan Day performing well. So you guys who've been there and done it and bought the T-shirt have produced the goods again under some not inconsiderable pressure.
No, I mean, you've seen the standard nowadays. Everyone's knocking in centuries and breaks for fun. So, I feel like I was close to playing really well in that match. I fell asleep for a couple of frames from 3-1 up. It went 3-all, and then I sort of like got my act together again, really. Didn't give him many chances after that. So I feel like I'm close to playing well. But as you say, every day is different, and I'm pleased to be going to York. To be fair, I'm really looking forward to it.
So are we. I mean, by all accounts, the ticket sales are going brilliantly, and we're going to have some epic matches. You look in good shape at the moment. The fitness is still going well.
Doing all right. It's been so busy at snooker, so not been able to do it as much as I was, but I'm still squeezing bits and pieces in. So I'll keep going, Rob. I'm not quite as fit as you, mate, but I'll keep going.
No, I can tell you're in good shape. Now, I guess what you don't want tomorrow is Mark Selby, because presumably you guys have tentatively spoken about sharing an apartment, because I know you're basically your best mate on tour, and you've had to play before at York, and it's a nightmare for you, isn't it?
It's horrible. It's not nice when you play any of your friends on tour, and obviously Mark's probably my closest mate on tour now, and that's one thing we spoke about yesterday when I was having a couple with him, is if I get through, hopefully we don't draw each other. So we'll try and share an apartment again if we can, and see the draw and see what happens tomorrow. As long as we don't play each other, and it doesn't matter who you got them, really.
And it for people who haven't been to the Barbican, it is a really, really special tournament, isn't it? Because York's a fantastic city, bursting with energy, great place to go for a pint, for a cream tea, whatever, great history. It's a good place to be at any time of the year, but especially in the lead up to Christmas.
Yeah, it's so busy up there, the Christmas markets and stuff, like you say. It's buzzing, the atmosphere is great up there. It's one of the best venues we play at, especially support-wise. The crowds are amazing, and especially now it's down to just a 2-table setup. It feels special when you're there, and the atmosphere is great, and hopefully it brings the best out in the players. And I'm just I'm gutted. I mean, I'm delighted I got through, because I'd have been gutted, going home and having to watch it on TV, and. So I'm pleased, Rob. I'm pleased.
Yeah, and deservedly so. And it's funny, because I loved it when we went back to York. We had our last edition at Telford. I think that was the year when John Higgins came from way behind to beat Mark Williams. And I was kind of fond of Telford because that's where I did my first event for World Snooker back in 2007. But then as soon as we went back to York, we had that great final between Judd and Mark Allen. Judd got a huge lead. Mark came back at him, I think it was 10-8 or 10-7, but it was a brilliant atmosphere. But I wasn't sure how well it would work when they suddenly went down to only 32. But it really has worked, hasn't it? And I'm not just saying that. It now feels like it's a massive deal and a massive achievement just to get there.
Yeah, it does. It feels like a Triple Crown event. Obviously you've got the Masters, the 1-table setup, and the World Championship, speaks for itself really. But now it's down to the two-table setup, and it just feels like a special event. BBC event, when you walk out there, it feels special, and the pressure's on you straight away. But it's like you say, I wouldn't say I prefer, but obviously I look forward going to the venue every year. But having to come and qualify now is the hard part. But once you get through, then you've got something to look forward to. That's for sure.
We really have. Well done, Barry. You're in the draw tomorrow afternoon. I'll really keep my fingers crossed that you don't draw Mark Selby. Yeah. But Barry Hawkins joins a great list of players to have survived Judgment Day Part 1. But don't get withdrawal symptoms. We're not heading off up the M1 just yet. We've got to do it all over again tomorrow, where we've got another 8 mouth-watering places up for grabs. The top 16 have been joined by 8, but that means there are 8 places left to grab. We've had 3 Welshmen making it through today. Good news for them. We've had some of the old guys still delivering, not just the Hawk. Maguire's there, Bingham's there, former world champion Maguire, 2 decades after he won the title in 2004. He thrashed David Gray, I think, 10-1 in the final. So much to look forward to tomorrow for Judgment Day Part 2.